Welcome, everyone, to the Islanders Never Say Die podcast. I'm your host, TJ, and with me here, as always, is our NHL analyst and expert, the grumpy old man. They say there's no shame in his game because he's always the same.
That's me.
Welcome, everybody, to the show. If you're new to the channel, welcome again. As I mentioned, this is a twice-a-week Islanders podcast that takes place every single Wednesday and Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're new to the channel, we invite you to stick around a while. We invite you to subscribe on YouTube, to like on Facebook, and to follow on Twitter. You know, if you enjoy the content, make sure to leave a thumbs up. It lets us know you enjoy it. And apparently it helps the algorithm as well. At least that's what we're told. But Grump, we're going live here Wednesday evening during the Islanders against the New York Rangers game, Grumpy.
So it's like a pseudo watch along State of the Islanders podcast, right?
Well, no, we're just commenting on the podcast, and we'll be watching the game as things transpire. We'll be talking about them, Grump.
And so kind of like it's like a hybrid. It's like a hybrid game. It's like a hybrid podcast.
You keep saying that. Does it make you sleep better at night if I say it's a hybrid podcast for you?
That's why I say it. Not worried about what you think.
Okay, sounds good, Grumpy. But welcome. First period in the books for the Islanders against the Rangers. I will say Islanders had a few opportunities there on the power play, pretty much amounted to nothing. But the Rangers came away with the best, or I'd say two of the best opportunities that period. But you know, the Rangers are coming off they're on the second end of a back-to-back game, coming off of just playing the Colorado Avalanche last evening.
I think that the Islanders played a really good first period. Even though they were outshot by the Rangers, I don't know what the final count was, 14, 15-9. I thought the Islanders did really well in the first period. They played solid defensive hockey, physical with the Rangers. They gave up a couple of primo scoring chances, but when the best player on your team is the goalie, sometimes that helps. A couple of distressing things from the first period from a big picture standpoint. This is our third straight backup goalie that we're playing.
I was about to mention the same exact item. We have talked a little bit about that, how it seems like against the good teams, we're getting the backup goalie, the goalie. You know, when we look at, you know, the games, of course, that we're referencing to, the Florida Panthers, obviously tonight, and then Tampa Bay Lightning. Brian Elliott was the first one, the backup there for Tampa, and then it was Spencer Knight, the backup for Florida, and then we've got now Yaroslav Halak, the backup for the Rangers. And man, I'll tell you, Halak
looks shaky.
He looks shaky. He's finished. I think that's the nicest way you could put it. I think he's finished. Maybe he's just shaky right now. I know from the games he's played earlier on this season, he didn't look stellar, but he has not looked stellar so far early in this game as well.
I mean, optimally, what do you give him? 25 games a year?
Yeah.
Against the weaker offensive teams like us, or the second half of a back-to-back. I mean, that's when you're going to see him. The second thing, which I really hate more than even the Halak thing, Anders Lee got knocked on his keister by Jacob Trouba, and you hear the crowd go, Trouba. I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. I'm sorry. Any Islander fan who's selling his tickets to Ranger fans, I don't have any respect for you. I'm sick and tired.
Well, no, I don't think Islander fans are selling their tickets to Rangers fans. I don't think enough Islander fans are purchasing tickets, so they're just purchasing. Ranger fans are just purchasing free tickets, Grump.
Okay, I don't think
they're purchasing available tickets, dude. The stadium is half empty all the time. Year 2 at UBS Arena, it looks like the stadium's half empty all the time.
It is. The warden even mentioned it. She's like, man, your team must really suck. I'm like, what makes you say that? He says, there's nobody in the stands. I'm like, warden. The warden getting kind of nasty talking about our team, boy. That's all I'm saying.
I tell you, it's I mean, like, it's honest, though. It's accurate. I mean, we've struggled. We've been a team that's struggled, you know, all year so far this early season, and things don't look great. I'll tell you. I know we didn't go live during the recent Florida Panthers loss, but these next few games are crucially important. It's that simple. This is not a team that can afford to start off the season 2-8 or 3-7. anything like that. Right now, we're 2-4, playing a tough Rangers team. The Rangers looked good last night. Shusterkin was fantastic in that. I was shocked Georgiev looked as good as he did for Colorado. Grump.
Well, it's playing for Colorado. He's playing for a really good team. And you knew he had something to prove against the Rangers. But I'm expecting, here's the thing. What I'm doing now, I'm looking at all the teams and who their backups are so I can familiarize myself with the backup goalies who are going to be playing against us every night.
Look at you, Grumpy. You
so probably Francouz, right? It'll be Francouz. And then I don't even know, does Carolina even have a backup, or are they just going to bring a Zamboni guy to play? I don't know.
Probably the Zamboni guy. There's a few things we want to talk about here. We'll start off with some more lighthearted items because, right, there's a lot to be a little pessimistic about today, but I want to start off with some lighthearted items. I know this is not usually how we start the show, but we're going to do it anyway. I'm not sure, Grumpy, did you happen to see Dennis Potvin, Grumpy, has got a new little piece of merchandise that he's putting out? Did you happen to see what it was, what Potvin's putting out? I thought it was quite clever.
Potvin socks. And honestly, I'm stunned I didn't come up with that idea.
I wasn't asking.
I'll take care. I can't believe they're still chanting Potvin socks.
Echo.
43 years.
Oh, thank you, Grumpy. I know there's an echo. Thank you.
Okay. They're not saying Potvin socks. They're saying Potvin socks.
Potvin socks?
Yeah, Potvin socks.
I love it.
We've got them all right here.
Look at all these different Potvin socks, Grumpy.
Okay, I just wish the design, I don't know who did this design.
It's kind of cheap.
I'm hoping it's not one of the same Islander people who've been doing the uniforms. But I'd like to see something a little different.
What would you have liked to see in there?
Maybe one where he's running Ulf Nielsen into the boards to break his ankle, something like that. I would have liked to see that. Maybe that's that orange one. I can't really tell. It's a little.
No, I don't think that's the one, Grumpy.
That's one I would have liked to see. Him holding up Stanley Cups and the Rangers, with broken ankles, that type of thing.
I would have loved to see him holding up a cup, something like that. I think the Potvin socks are fantastic. Like, you look at certain items, what we talk about how much of a blunder it is by our marketing department. I would say, I'm going to go out on a limb and say probably the Islanders did not approach him with this. Somebody else did. And he's like, hey, let's go ahead and work in coalition with you guys. I don't want to put up the capital to go ahead and launch a sock company, but I know you guys have connections with apparel companies, and I just want to go ahead and sell some merchandise too to get a little extra bit of a kickback. But this Potvin sock is fantastic. I was like, when I saw that today, I was like, shit, I might have to buy a pair. Potvin socks.
Potvin socks. I love them. I love the idea. Like I said, I don't know if that's one where he's running Ulf Nielsen into the boards. I hope it is. I'd love that.
It's not. It's just this guy with a freaking stick. Can you not see it's a guy with a stick? Look at
It's fuzzy. It's fuzzy, first of all. And
fuzzy?
It looks like maybe Potvin is behind him. Maybe the guy up front, or maybe it's a big shadow. Something's coming over, maybe hitting the guy in front. It looks like there's something behind him. Maybe getting ready to run him into the boards.
I couldn't tell you. I don't think they're gonna. Oh, stop.
I just said that I can't see it. But it was interesting because Dennis Potvin, they had him on at the beginning of the second period, I believe, talking with Butch and Brendan about the state of hockey, what he sees as different, what he likes, what he doesn't like. And the interesting thing was he used to be the color commentator for the Florida Panthers.
Yeah.
And they kind of moved him out. And I think he did a year in Ottawa. But they asked him if he missed it, and he said he absolutely missed it. And I felt kind of bad for him because, he still has a lot to give.
Bring him here. Goodbye, Butchie. I love you, Butchie, but you're freaking finished, man.
Or maybe kind of work them in tandem, something like that. I'd love to see that happen. I'm a huge Dennis Potvin fan. Huge.
I'm not sure how many more games I can listen to Waltherson and just complete. I'm not very articulate, right, Grumpy? When I'm reading, right, I make the mistakes. But good gracious, man, Butchie, that's your job, my friend. I don't know. If you had to pick one of they're not going to hire both, right? And if I had to pick between Dennis Potvin or Butch Goring, I love you, Butchie, but you just don't have it anymore.
And Dennis Potvin also let everyone know that Butch is quite a bit older than he is. He wanted to make sure he wanted to make sure that was out there. It was a really nice, fun little interview, and I always enjoy them when some of the legendary guys get together and just just talk hockey. I find that really entertaining.
This idea, really quickly to sum it up, of Potvin socks, it is like the first time Build-A-Bear came out, where it was they were going to charge you this crazy upcharge to build your own stuffed animal. But it was like, oh yeah, you get to do this and you get to build it. You put the labor in to do it. And so like you look at the business model, very, very cheap and inexpensive, but it's about the center. It's like, it's something special. It's like, why has that never been thought of before? And just like that quick, it always should have been like that you see with Build-A-Bears. And now you're like, that is exactly, this should have always have been around, because this chant still exists to this very day by the Ranger fans. They were chanting it last year in the Eastern Conference Finals. Potvin sucks. Potvin sucks. I'm like, Christ almighty, guys, come on.
You know, it has to be great for Dennis Potvin to know that he's in the Rangers fans' heads forever.
He lives rent-free there forever.
Rent-free.
Is correct.
He's taken up residence rent-free in the Ranger fans' heads. I love it.
Oh man, so I did enjoy that. Now, did you happen to see the homage that the Islanders paid to Stan Fischler?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was nice. The Islanders do things like that extremely well. Nice. They named the press box after Stan Fischler. Really nice thing. They had some memorabilia there. A really nice thing. Ledecky was there. I thought it was a really nice thing they did. Really nice. Stan Fischler, let's be honest, he's a legend in the hockey broadcasting community. Just is.
And he's a legend for the New York Islanders. You look at some of these pictures here, Grumpy, and I think they did him. This was fantastic what they did for him.
Yeah, great. Like I said, I loved the whole thing. I loved just really. And they do those things really, really well. They really do.
Like the Fisherman Media Pass. That's what they chose to put out there. I'm sure that's going to go ahead and trigger some of those anti-fish stick fans.
That's right. They'll be okay.
Oh God, Anders Lee lives forever, Grumpy. Anders Lee will live forever now in this freaking picture right here.
I don't know.
Fischler. Was that Stan Fischler's last interview? Maybe that's why that's the picture that's up there.
Yeah, talking Anders Lee make anybody quit.
Oh, but I loved it. They showed a video of it. I was hoping I could find the video because like they've got his setup, his typewriter there. They've got it all done, and I thought they did a fantastic job, the organization, with this. Right? We shit on the organization of the franchise when it should be, and we're critical of them when we should be critical of them, and we're also a very, very high praise after an act like this and what they've done on that. A big kudos to the Islanders organization on this one.
They do that stuff very, very well. Very well.
So now we've got the good stuff out of the way. Let's
That's it. Okay.
Let's shift focus here a little bit, Grumpy.
Talk about the on-ice product.
Yeah, let's talk about what's going on the ice. Well, we'll talk about one more thing off the ice. Today, Kiefer Bellows waived. They waived Kiefer Bellows today in favor to make sure that Robin Salo has a spot there in the roster and in the lineup. So essentially they said, hey, we're going to keep Sebastian Aho, Ross Johnston, and we're going to keep items and players of that nature and Shushnikov, as well as Sebastian Aho, in favor of Kiefer Bellows. So Kiefer Bellows waived today, Grumpy. Initial thoughts?
All right. It was probably a housekeeping move, and I guess they figured no one's going to claim him. But if you're a team like San Jose or Anaheim, why would you not take a flyer on Kiefer Bellows at that salary?
Or Arizona. Any of these teams that are in the freaking cellar where you think to yourself, okay, because let's go down the quick saga of Kiefer Bellows, right? I think a lot of this has to still do with the fact that he used performance-enhancing drugs, I don't know, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I think it left him in bad taste with the general manager, Lou Lamoriello. Whatever, is what it is. He, it's a guy to where if you're not immediately on his good side. Oh, by the way, you were correct. I'm looking at the Potvin socks, Grumpy. He is throwing a check, or it looks like Potvin has the puck and somebody's trying to check him, but is going over the top of him because he's just so strong on his skates.
Okay.
But I have
They're actually showing him on the broadcast right now.
Okay, we got that.
He was really good. He was really good throwing hip checks.
Yes.
Dennis Potvin was one of the last great hip checkers in the league.
Well, and I want to mention this here too. I hope they've got extra large socks. I got big feet, Grumpy. Normal size socks are not going to fit me. So, but you look at Kiefer Bellows, we go ahead and waive him today, Grump. I think it's foolish. This is a guy who's still young. He played well in the preseason. Preseason
well.
is not the regular season, right? I'm not saying the two are exactly alike.
Josh Bailey played well in the preseason.
What is
Got
that?
0 points. 0 freaking points through 6 games.
Wow.
It's impressive.
Oh, hold on. Is that including the regular season or the preseason alone?
No, regular. No, he scored points in the preseason. He was piggybacking off of Bellows, as I remember. Bellows making him look good.
Oh, Bellows making him look good. Yeah, he's now in his 6th game of the regular season. Josh Bailey has 0 points. Well, the good thing is, right? Kiefer Bellows waived. And like, I'm just so flabbergasted by the entire thing because, you look at what he did preseason looked good. In the same token, though, my God almighty, he got the first game of the season after, again, as I mentioned, a very, very stellar preseason. He got 7 minutes of ice time in the first regular season game.
That's
7 minutes of ice time. So we went to the Barry Trotz school of thought when it came to giving a young guy a chance there in that capacity. 7 minutes of ice time, and then they said, yeah, you're never going to see the ice again. And now we're waiving you. Kiefer Bellows played better than Oliver Wahlstrom in the preseason. We spoke about it. Hey, Wahlstrom didn't look great in the 2 games he was there, and he had the high ankle sprain, so how is that going to affect him? But man, oh man, Grumpy, what are you smiling? I know you just, what are you doing?
Here's what I'm smiling at.
Grab your freaking attention.
Here's what I'm smiling. Dennis Potvin he's pulling up his pants leg on the national broadcast, shamelessly promoting his socks. And he just said it was for the hip check. I just man, Dennis must really need the money if he's showing the leg on the national TNT broadcast. That's all.
Great, Grumpy. You're going to have to turn your TV off because you can't focus and do 2 at 1.
I was waiting for you to finish.
TV effing off, bro. Okay, so what was I talking about?
Finish.
I want to hear your response, Grumpy.
Okay. My big issue is,
well, hold on. I spoke specifically about Wahlstrom not playing as well as Kiefer Bellows, and still Bellows not getting an opportunity. That's what I was speaking about before you got mesmerized by Dennis Potvin's calf.
But what does it tell you? The Islander organization doesn't think much of Kiefer Bellows. Doesn't matter how well he plays, they don't think much of him. That's what it says to me. My biggest concern is, okay, if you have to use a waiver, put someone on waivers to make sure that Robin Salo can be back on the team, why wouldn't you waive somebody like a Josh Bailey, a Kyle Palmieri, a Matt Martin, a Cal Clutterbuck, somebody who makes some money? So if someone, and I'm not saying anyone's going to make a waiver claim on Kiefer Bellows, but wouldn't you want one of those guys to be claimed, somebody who's making $5 million a year? I mean, or if there's no risk, what does it matter? Maybe you like your team. I mean, no one's picking up Josh Bailey, not looking at his play, or F- for that matter, or Matt Martin. I mean, I'm just kind of flabbergasted. What does it say to the kid? What does it say to Kiefer Bellows?
I want to freaking be gone. I want to get out of town as soon as humanly possible. Even after having a great preseason, I still get no chance. Oh, people will say, oh, he's a generic player. He's a creative player. What do you have? In 4 games in the preseason, he had 3 goals and an assist. What else does he need to do to prove that I deserve more than 7 minutes of ice time? Are you kidding me? He threw the body around. That's right. He threw the body around. He showed that, hey, I'm willing to play a bottom 6 role to throw the body around to serve what I need to do in order to get an everyday spot and a chance. 1 freaking game with 7 minutes of ice time. Hey, see you later, Kiefer. Hey, we think that Ross Johnson serves a much more valuable role. We think that Shushnikov, who was up there and gave away a freaking goal by getting checked twice at center ice and screwing them over and giving up a goal with 0.1 seconds left against Florida. We think they're more valuable to have up there on the roster. It doesn't matter. The mistakes they make are brutal and just hideous, heinous, almost, Grumpy. Doesn't matter that led completely to a goal against. We didn't like what we saw in you in the 7 minutes we saw you on the ice there, Kiefer.
Yeah, like I said, it was baffling to me. I mean, if it was just a housekeeping move, Why would you not expose a Josh Bailey?
It's not a housekeeping move. Why would it be a housekeeping move? They kept Sebastian Aho.
Well, maybe they want that 7th defenseman.
Oh,
He's number 7 defenseman. Maybe they're going to send Bellows down to the minors. I don't know.
you'd have to figure that's where they're sending him. They waived him. Where do you think he's going, Grump?
I mean, if you don't want him on your team, trade him. If you the last number of years didn't think he was going to make him, if you were so upset over the performance enhancing drug or whatever it was, whatever he got popped for, why don't you just move him? I'm sure he had value, but that's one thing the Islanders don't do. They let someone's value just grind down to a nub, and then they try, well, we can't get anything for him. Well, that's on you. That's on the Islanders. If you have no interest in a player, build him up and then move him. You don't let him where he winds up bottoming out and then try to move a guy. I mean, he's not the first one. He's not the second. I mean, that's just what they do. I was flabbergasted by that move today.
When I got a message about it, I thought that somebody was pulling my leg. I'm like, yeah, that's funny. No, I don't believe that. But I had to see it to believe it. I'm like, wow, waving Kiefer Bellows. Not something I would have expected, that's for certain. And I mean, like, you look at the games he played, maybe, and I'm looking at the preseason. Again, not saying preseason is exactly indicative of what would happen in the regular season, but he wound up playing 4 games in the preseason, had a goal and 2 assists. Okay, is that an issue? I mean, is he playing poorly? You have players like, think about this. Josh Bailey plays so freaking horribly, he gets healthy scratched earlier on this year. And so does Anthony Pavilier. He gets healthy scratched too. Bailey has 0 points, but he's playing on the first line with Matt Barzal and Oliver Wahlstrom playing on the first line. And another thing that's just kind of baffled me about the entire situation earlier on this year is, my God, are we going to the freaking blender with the line combinations early and often? It's like every freaking game is a brand new line combination every fucking game.
He's like a mad scientist out there.
I don't know if it's a good thing. Here's the thing about mad scientists. It's either unbelievably brilliant or he is just freaking just nuts. I'm hoping he's not creating a young Frankenstein. That's for certain, Grumpy.
I mean, and then you see a guy like Zach Parise, who's, I mean, he's lost it. Whatever he had, he's lost.
Absolutely.
He's getting almost 60 minutes a night in ice time. He plays power play. He plays penalty kill. I mean, I don't know. I'm just sick and tired of seeing these old retreads. You look at the team is slow. We're old and slow. And Kiefer Bellows isn't the most fleet of foot guy, but you need to start transitioning away from these veterans. The sooner the better. It's frustrating. It's just frustrating to watch. And I was really disappointed with Kiefer Bellows getting waived today. Now he's probably going to be back with the team. I don't know if he can just ask for his unconditional release. I don't know what the rules are. I mean, look at that. It's like Barzal, Wahlstrom, Bailey. Freaking Bailey. 0 point Bailey. He plays on the first line. He plays on the power play. 0 points.
Played so well earlier on this year, he was a healthy scratch. And it gave me room for optimism. Oh, wow. Hey, Josh Bailey, a healthy scratch. Maybe he's actually going to sit players when they're not performing. Well, we sit Pavilier the next game after he scores a weekie. I mean, that's when Brian Elliott would let a freaking puck go in through his chest. But he's rewarded with no production. I've never seen somebody rewarded so often with no to little production in a career. I've never seen it before. It's baffling to me. And it's not like Bailey offers something special that Matt Barzal would benefit from and Oliver Wahlstrom would benefit from. Matt Barzal's the creator. He's the guy who's able to create space. He's the guy who's able to distribute the puck. And we've got a guy who is allergic to shoot. We have 2 players on that line who are allergic to shoot. Matt Barzal does not shoot the puck anywhere near enough. And Josh Bailey is allergic to shoot the puck.
Maybe he's helping Oliver Wahlstrom with his homework.
Oh, that's it. And let's talk about this too, because these obviously were, hold on a second. Yeah, these obviously were Wahlstrom. He meant Pavilier there. But Parise and Palmieri on the third line. I mean, it's where they belong, but Jesus Christ. Just think about the contracts we have tied up on the third line. Over $11 million of a cap hit tied up on the third line.
Just about 12 million.
Is it okay? Is it 12?
5.5 and 1.75, whatever Parise is.
Oh, what, I thought Parise was just vet minimum with a possibility for bonuses.
He'll hit those bonuses.
Okay. Yikes. Okay. So you got about $12 million tied up on the third line. I think the fourth line has looked competent at times, but are we trying to tell me that there's no way that Kiefer Bellows could earn more than 7 minutes of ice time or earn an opportunity and a chance? We're a freaking 2-4 freaking hockey team that has not looked good in our losses. It's that simple. It's not like, oh, dude, oh man, we lost this one in shootout. We lost this one. I think we have been dominated. Today, we're being outshot by the Rangers 21-11, and we're about halfway through the game.
Thank God we have Sorokin. That's all I have to say.
Thank God we have Sorokin is right. Thank God. Sorokin making some unbelievable saves in tight. And you just think about, what if we didn't have one of the top 5 goalies in the NHL? What if our goalie gets banged up, right? What happens if he has to miss some time this year? We're screwed. I'm not saying Varlamov sucks, but he's no Sorokin's a top 5 netminder in the NHL. No doubt about it.
True. 100% agree. For me, it's just, I see the direction the team is going this year. I'm already making phone calls. I firmly believe we're going to lose tonight. We're going to lose to Carolina. We're going to lose to Colorado. You're 2-7. We're going to probably be 2-7 to start the year off. Oof. What does that say? You're almost an eighth of the way through the season, and your season's over.
Right now, we are last in the conference.
Yes.
We've only played now 6 games. This is our 7th game, but still last in the conference. Does that, I mean, like, I know we got a new system, but does that bode for, hey, we're going to be ultra successful? We're off to a quick and fiery start. I mean, this is a game that I would say the first period was close. Yes, the Rangers have looked go figure. The Rangers, the better skating team, have looked the dominant team when you have the longer substitution and the longer change of skaters.
I don't know. I haven't seen any of the second period, so I can't comment.
Good. You don't need to be seeing any of the second period, Grumpy.
But you are allowed to.
What can I say? I can multitask. I can talk with you, and I know when I need to focus. But Grumpy, it's like, you know what? Because you're getting old. You got old man in the name. It's like you can do one thing at once. You go, and then you go, oh man. But I'll say, I think that we have looked slow as we expect, and against good teams, right? We've struggled. It's that simple. Against good teams, we've struggled. And just like that, Palmieri scores to give us the lead. I know as you're glued to the TV, Grumpy, but Palmieri scores to give us the lead. It looks like Halak just missed that glove side. Holy shit, what a weekie.
Yeah. Well, and you're going to get that when you're playing every team's backup every night.
Correct. That is a bad goal to let in. Maybe it's partially screened. Maybe it's partially screened on this one. Your goalie cannot be letting in a shot from that distance when, oh my God, glove side too. How the hell are you surrendering a glove side goal from that distance? It wasn't even screened. Holy shit. That was unbelievably weak, Halak. Holy crap.
Shaky. He looks super shaky.
Oh my, it went between his, oh my God. It went between his arm and his leg like that. That's one he would want to have back. That's one he's got to make a save on. But that's right. That's what happens when you're playing every team's backup goalie.
Yep.
I still think despite that goal, we've been dominated today. In the second period, we've been dominated. So, game's still far from over, but it's nice to have a little bit of a lead. I will tell you this, as much as Georgiev used to get shit for the Rangers last year, man, oh man. maybe he wasn't as bad as advertised, because Halak just has looked awful the first few games he's played.
Georgiev always has played the Islanders well also, but we probably won't get to play him.
What do you mean, against Colorado?
Yeah, they'll play their backup against us. I'm certain of it. How
Who's
many
that?
starting
Brandon?
goalies have played against us this year? I think the first game of the year, Bobrovsky played, and then Gibson. I don't even know.
Against the Sharks, I'm sure we played their start. We wound up playing about like I couldn't even tell you who the hell the Shark starter is in that, to be quite frank with you. Wow. Kyle Palmieri has 5 goals on 28 career shots against Halak. He apparently plays well against Yaroslav Halak.
Yeah,
Oh,
shoot the
man,
puck
man.
more. I mean,
What
but 5
are
on
you
5.
doing, Grump? I'm trying to pull something up. What do you?
I mean, 5 on 5.
Jesus, hey, man.
We've just not been really good 5 on 5. I know that's a 5 on 5 goal, but we haven't played well 5 on 5. Having a hard time keeping possession in the other team's offense in the offensive zone. It's just, I just don't know where we go from here. I mean, we're so far from being good now. That's like, when do we start moving some pieces out? It was interesting. They were talking pregame today, and they said how, come the trade deadline, that the Islanders and the Rangers are probably going to be looking for the same type of player. I mean,
Wow.
unless that player's name is draft pick, I hope we're not looking for the same type of player.
Yikes. Would that be a wrong freaking move for us? My God. Jesus H. You're right. We do not we do not need to add. We're gonna be in a situation where we need to sell at the deadline. I just don't see there's any other way from avoiding that, to be quite frank.
No, I don't either. And the whole thing is we're playing playoff caliber teams, and we're just getting dominated. That's very reminiscent of last year. Very reminiscent.
And people are willing to hit the panic button earlier this year because, hold on, you're right. This is very reminiscent of last year. And you think to yourself, I'm like, oof, okay, maybe last year wasn't an aberration. Maybe this is exactly what we are. And I mean, like, you look at this, right? And people are going to be like, oh, man, it was a good shot by Palmieri. I thought it was an awful shot. Just look at Twitter. Halak beat again. Not the best. I don't know. It just.
Here's the thing.
I think that was a weak ass goal to give up. I'm trying to find a slow-mo where it gives us all angles, but
yeah, I'm not no shot is a bad shot, but here's the thing. The goalie's got to make that save.
Correct.
You can't get beat on that one. I mean, it's not like it was 150 miles an hour.
It was a shot as he was turning. It was like with a shot. Do you remember Martin put that shot in as he was mid-turn? And I'm like, how the hell does a guy put a shot in as he's turning?
Goalie loses focus.
Exactly. I mean, like, you look at this here, and I'll let you watch it full play. A good job by Pajot putting it back there. But, I mean, look where this is coming from. And it goes, you could see where the goalie does it. Oop, it goes right between the It's not like that shot was freaking top shelf. It wasn't like that was, holy shit, Palmieri just sniped that to the freaking toy department. He put that at like pad level. The goalie just wasn't prepared for it and didn't make the save because he's a shitty goalie. But good job. We scored. We're up 1-0. I'm again cautiously optimistic about a 1-goal lead against the Rangers.
This has a feeling of a 1-0, 2-1 game, to be honest.
It does, or an overtime game. This really does. I think this has the feeling of an overtime game. I think bare minimum we're getting a point this game. I don't think we're giving up 2 or 3 goals in the third period, and that's all she wrote. But I mean, like, when the goalie does this and throws their head back like this, like they're hanging their head, or they're throwing it back, he knows that's a weak as shit goal to let up, and he knows when they're looking over film like, Halak, Yaroslav, what the fuck are you doing? How do you let a freaking third liner Kyle Palmieri throw a low wrister like that in the freaking back of the net on your glove side? My God, just immediate. Oh,
yeah, he knew.
That's not one. Okay, if that's not one you want that's not one. If Sorokin let that in, I'm saying the same thing. Unbelievably weak. Got to make that safe.
And he's looked shaky all day. Can't cover a puck.
What should that mean for the Islanders? Throw the puck on net.
Yep.
Throw the puck on net. It's that simple. We've got 15 shots halfway through the game. We're being outshot 22-15. We have got to throw more pucks on net. It's that simple. He looks shaky. He hasn't looked good. Throw the puck. And even if it's not on net, have your guys, have Lee, have your players crossing in front to try to redirect shots that are in the area in the vicinity. Throw the puck on net. When we see success, we're throwing more pucks on net. when we looked at the games we were dominant in against Anaheim and the Sharks, we threw a lot of pucks on net, given they were bad teams, but we threw the puck on net a lot more often. We have to do that if we want to be successful.
My concern is we're just not good enough to keep up with the good teams. Yeah, we'll handle the weaker teams, but against the good teams, we just struggle possession wise. By every metric and every eyeball test, we just don't hold up against the good teams. It's frustrating. It's disappointing as an Islander fan. It just is. But I could see us winning this game 1-0 tonight. Absolutely. I thought the first game was going to be crucial. If the Rangers would have scored the first goal, the game was over. But I think we have a legit shot to win this game now, up 1-0.
It bothers me, though, as we've mentioned, when teams start putting their starting goalies out, how does that's a routine save for Shesterkin. Routine. Corn. Boop. Easy save right there. And we're still deadlocked. It does have a feeling of a 1-0 or a 2-1 game where everything is very close and contested. The Islanders always play extremely good hockey against the Rangers. Even when the Islanders have been bad historically, they have played very well and strong against the Rangers.
And the same way when the Islanders are good and the Rangers are poor. Those games are always tight. Always tight. It's a rivalry game.
This rivalry game exactly is always a closely contested, a tight game where both teams get up to play each other, and you're going to see good hockey, generally speaking, out there on the ice.
Yeah, I agree.
That all you have to say on it, Grumpy? I don't have you pulled up. I'm trying to do other things. You're too busy watching the game.
I'm not watching the game. Stop saying that. You're the one watching the game, not me.
Grumpy, I'm trying to go ahead and pull up their next items we want to speak about, but that's fine. Anyway, man, are you just ready to get into the ad then?
We can hit some comments. We can do a lot of different things.
Okay, we're just going to get into the ad read then, Grumpy. Maybe we won't even make it through the whole game, by the way this is going. Welcome, everybody. Today's podcast is brought to you by DraftKings. Hockey fans, it's finally time to hit the ice again. And thanks to DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, you're in for the season of a lifetime. New customers can bet just $5 on any team and get $200 in free bets if they win. And if that wasn't enough excitement, you can turn small bets into even bigger payouts with same game parlays. So you can add multiple different categories or multiple different items into one bet for an even bigger payout. So you can say, I think the Islanders are going to win this game. I think Sorokin is going to have a shutout, and you can add more and more for a bigger payout. Combine multiple bets, like which team will win, how many goals will be scored, and more for your shot at an even bigger payout. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, and you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the promo code THPN and bet $5 on any team to win their game and get $200 in free bets if they do. Again, that's promo code THPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See the show notes and the show notes and description for additional details.
I have a question for you. Do you think if we come out and beat the Rangers, I think, like I said, we're playing as good as we can play against them tonight, right? Being aggressive as if we can, much tighter checking than we've seen the last couple of games. Of course, the Rangers, I realize it's not a 5:00 in the afternoon game, but it is a back-to-back for them. Do you think that maybe we come away with a little bit of fool's gold saying, oh, okay, we've turned the corner. Look at how good we played against the Rangers.
Are you talking about the fan base or who?
I'm talking about fan base.
I think the fan base does.
GM.
I think the fan base does. I think the fan base is extremely fickle at the moment. I think it's the same exact reason why when I made a tweet there recently, I said it's fool's gold. I said, hopefully everybody now knows that, the do nothing and just run it back. The run it back team and the run it back crew is completely wrong. I hope you guys realize that now. Hey, you got a great positive reception on social media. That being said, if you win a game here, they're like, oh man, we're telling you this team just needed one more chance. The fan base is extremely fickle this early on in the season because a win or a loss here or there can really go ahead and dictate what thoughts are. It's just that simple. But, I think that even if we win this game against the Rangers, look at what we've seen. Look at the trends we've seen. This is going to be our 7th game in. We've played how many backup goalies? Okay, great. Gotcha. How have we looked against the really good teams? Okay, great. Gotcha. Because listen, if this was a freaking Islanders broadcast and we were listening to Brendan and Butch, they would be talking, if we were in the Rangers shoes, oh man, this is the second end of the back and back situation. So these guys are going to be tired. They just went to overtime against the Colorado Avalanche. They're going to be tired out there. That's what we'd be hearing all freaking broadcast and telecast long if Brendan and Butch were talking about this game, to have a built-in excuse for a loss. Right? I'm not saying that's the only reason we're winning this game is because the Rangers are tired. They just went to overtime against the Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche, and they got up for it. And today's a little bit of a letdown game for them. No, I'm not saying that. But that's what we would be hearing. That they try to go ahead and sway opinion positively any which way they can. But look at the trends. Look at the trends.
I mean, I just have to say that, for everyone who was complaining last year how the schedule was against us, COVID was against us, we've gotten all the breaks this year.
I'd agree.
Far. We've been on the benefit of a back-to-back twice this year so far, and we're playing backup goalies every night. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
Correct.
I mean, you really can't complain about too much. We've had how many, this is our fifth home game to start the year. Are people going to complain at the end of the year? Well, gosh, we're playing so many road games at the end of the year. What did you expect? Well, you got to make hay when you're playing those home games early in the year. I mean,
we should be able to get off to an early start because we have 5 out of our 7 games are at home.
I mean, we
don't use that. We don't use that for an excuse as to why the Islanders are playing well. Oh, all of our games have been at home. That's the only reason we're playing. No, it's the same exact BS excuse when people said, oh, we're playing so many games on the road, that's why we're struggling. No, you're struggling because of the product out there on the ice. Oh, we're struggling because we had so many breaks in between games. Jesus. It was just every freaking laundry list of excuse. And over the long haul of over an 82-game season, you'll see we're not the same team we were 2 years ago or 3 years ago. We're not the same team that excelled in shortened seasons, right? It's just we're not that same team. You're not that guy. That's just that simple. It's just that simple. I mean, our penalty kill has been fantastic this year. We talk about the positive bright spots. I think our penalty kill style has not given up a goal all year long.
True.
Unbelievable. We're 7 games in almost. Have not surrendered a power play goal. It tells you all you need to know. We have been spectacular on the penalty kill. Hats off to the Islanders in that regard. Well, I don't think they're going to go perfect on the penalty kill for the season, but you're looking at it, you're almost a 10th of the way through the year, and you've surrendered 0 penalty power play goals. Man, that's special. That's special.
Yep, no doubt about it. I had a point to make, but you went on such a long diatribe, I forgot it.
Okay. Sounds good, Grumpy. Let's go ahead and start getting into some comments then. Brian J says, what's up, fellas? I'm here. The party has started. What's up, Brian J? How are you? JG says, hey, are hanging on, or they are hanging on by a thread tonight. And what's up, guys? The Islanders are hanging on by a thread against the Rangers. I mean, I'd say probably when this first comment was made, absolutely they have. Ooh, I'll tell you, that was a borderline there. Cross-check from behind. That being said, I think the Islanders have really maybe flipped the switch there since that goal. They've registered a lot more shots on that. But in the same token, I think the Rangers, right, the speed is something we've struggled with, and I think that we have been dominated at times this game.
True. Early on, I agree.
Lou R says Bailey is slow. Rangers player skated right by him, and then he falls down to his knees.
He's finished. He's finished as a player. That's why I'm like, why are you not putting a guy like that on waivers if it's just an administration thing to get Salo?
It's not. You keep saying it's an administration thing. It's not an administration thing. In order to keep Salo on the roster, they have to keep that spot open. Bellows is going to Bridgeport, Grump.
Okay.
What do you mean, okay? You keep saying an administration thing, right?
I
we just talked about it earlier. Ross Johnson, do you think Ross is going to Bridgeport? They just would have waived him. You think Shushnikov? They just would have waived him. Aho? They just would have waived him. They waived Bellows because he's the odd man out.
Okay. That's fine. I thought it's just some type of administration move so they could get Salo back up. That's all. I didn't
Salo's
realize
in
he
the
had.
lineup tonight, right?
I didn't realize he had to be sent down.
Salo's in the lineup tonight, right, Grumpy?
I don't even know. I don't know.
No, Aho's still in the lineup.
There you
So
go.
Aho's in the lineup tonight. Do you think they're sending Salo down?
I don't know what they're doing. That's what I'm saying.
Do you think they're rolling with 6 defense?
You remember when Komarov was on the team, he had to put on waivers every once in a while. So
That was because it was during the time period of COVID when the waivers worked differently. You had to waive them every so often in order to make sure that they still could stay as a healthy scratch and practice with the team. That's not something that's still applicable today.
Oh, okay. I don't know if that's a rule or not.
It's not. But yeah, they got Aho in lineup tonight. I'm still, that's another area where I'm kind of shocked. Sebastian Aho playing over Robin Salo. I think Aho has not looked good defensively. I think he's at best a 7th defenseman. He still gets time over Salo. I thought Salo's played well in the extended time or the shortened time period he had.
He was shaky in the first game of the year.
What are you expecting from a guy who's just breaking his way into the NHL?
I'm just telling you.
The second game, he scored 2 goals.
See, that's why I would have, if it was me, I would have gotten a veteran to play with Scott Mayfield, a cheap veteran to play that bottom pairing role instead of Sebastian Aho if something's not going right with Salo. And then just kind of work him in as the season goes on. That's what you want to do, right? Now you have Salo, who's not great defensively. He'll move the puck, and he's working okay with Mayfield, but still, you kind of want somebody a little bit more of an upgrade over Aho back there. If you're not going to play Salo,
I think he's given up. He's hemorrhaged opportunities going the other way, and I think again he brings something on the offensive side of the puck. And I think Robin Salo does too. Again, where do you see growth in these players? Do you see growth out of a guy like Sebastian Aho? I don't. He is what he is. When we look at a guy like Salo, I see that there's still growth opportunity and potential in him. Shit, guys. This is a team that we have to have growth from young players in order to continue to improve. It's that simple. And when we're not having that, it's really tough to be successful.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, and that's why I wore the Barry and the Vet shirt today, because the more things change, the more they just stay the same.
Well, I wouldn't say Aho is a vet.
He's a veteran now. What's he, 26?
Do you consider that? I don't know. He's only played, a handful of games in the NHL.
Okay, but he's been up with the team for years.
He was an overager when drafted.
I'm just saying, with Bellows getting waived, with him getting 7 minutes when he plays, and just, playing Bailey on the first line, no matter how poorly Palmieri and Parishes are playing, they just roll him out every day. We're going to bench Bailey for whatever reason. Then he plays on the first line. Anthony Beauvillier gets benched. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand what we're doing. I guess that's the biggest concern for me. What are they doing?
He's 26. I had a chance to pull that, but I still don't consider him a vet. I guess they're going to be fighting off between 6 and 7, or maybe alternating. The thing it comes down is the forward group. They're going to always run with 7 defensemen. You need to have an extra guy in case somebody picks up an injury as they're skating before the game, or an injury. You just always have to have 7 defensemen. Just that simple. Can't go running out there with only 5 guys because you're not prepared. But I mean, it comes down to Ross Johnston and Shushnikov. I mean, I don't know. This is a team that's looking for answers, and you already know what you've got. And guys like,
well, why not waive Matt Martin? There's a lot of guys on this team that you can waive who just don't do anything. There's so many veterans who've been with this team forever that you could waive. Just waive them. See if someone picks them up. I mean, it's baffling to me.
Andrell said the way to beat the Rangers is to be physical. Every time you check, even ever so slightly, they fall. They're even falling when they try to hit us. They just don't seem very physical and strong on their skates. So, I mean, with the exception of guys like Keandre Miller and the big bruisers out there, Reeves, they're not a very physical team. They're a team that is, they lack the physicality. That's something that they want. I feel like that's something they more want to address than anything else come this year's trade deadline, to be quite honest with you.
Grit guys.
Yeah, guys who are sandpaper guys who add a little bit of the toughness factor. That's what they're looking to add and should add.
Agreed.
Matthew S. says, good evening, gentlemen. What's up, Matthew S.? Tony She said, don't talk to your father like that. I don't even know what that was referenced to earlier.
You're very nasty today.
Dude, you cannot multitask.
You're very nasty today.
It's very tough to work with.
People know. The people know. They know.
Grumpy, that comment was made an hour ago.
What's the difference? You were nasty an hour ago. You're nasty now.
Ah, is that what it is? Huh?
It's a pattern.
You do not do a good job of multitasking. You know how I play around with a whole bunch of things that are going on here and I can manage to multitask? Dude, it's like for whatever reason, when I'm going and talking and you just say, yeah, I'm like, I feel like I'm talking to a brick wall.
Let's move on.
Now we want to move on from that. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. What's up, Matthew? Brian J says, I guess Romanov wasn't worth the first, huh? Well, remember, he's got so much potential to grow offensively. Remember, that was one of the big things we were sold on. He can grow a lot offensively. How has that worked out so far? Has he struck you as a guy that's got a lot of offensive potential?
No.
He hasn't to me.
He's a defensive. He's more of a wrecking ball back there. I don't think he's great positionally defensively. Hasn't shown anything offensively. He needs to have the rough edges kind of filed off of him, and then he can be maybe pretty good. But he needs to stay in his lane, which is play defense.
I think he is a guy who doesn't have a high ceiling. I think he's a guy who's just physical. I think he's a guy who can improve defensively. I think that's where his ability to improve is offensively. I think he's a waste. He doesn't bring anything off it. He never will. He's not going to be a guy who ever brings anything offensively. And I hope I eat my words on that. This is a guy who scoring 20 points in a season would be an aberration for him.
Like if he's playing top.
Yeah, exactly. Being Adam Pelech is the best case scenario for this guy. Do you spend a first round pick on Adam Pelech? If you're trading for him, you say, yeah, I'm giving up a first rounder plus, or I'm giving up an early first rounder for Adam Pelech. I don't. But maybe some people do.
If you were trading Adam Pelech today, you'd get a first round pick for him. You don't think so?
Because of the contract he's on.
It's the fact that he's a good defensive defenseman. You get a first round pick for him. Certainly.
Okay. So, here's the thing. Now we're moving the goalpost of the situation of the conversation. I said the best case scenario for this kid is he's Adam Pelech. Best case. Adam Pelech is still heralded as one of the best defensive defense, and I think he gets a little bit too much hype for that. I think he's a very, very good defensive defenseman. Top 5 in the league, I'm not sure. But that's the best case scenario for this guy.
Okay. You need guys to play defense in the defensive-oriented system. You need guys who can play defensive defensemen. Just do.
You were trying to go ahead and bring it to saying he's worth a first-round pick. You're talking the wrong conversation.
First of all, I didn't say he was worth a first-round pick.
Adam Pelech would be worth a first-round pick, right?
No, you said you didn't think Adam Pelech could get a first-round pick. I think he could.
Okay.
I think he absolutely could.
Sure, he
first-round pick and more. You were talking about Scott Mayfield getting a first-round pick and more. He's a defensive defenseman. That's what he does.
The reason Scott Mayfield, and we've talked about this ad nauseum, the reason he gets a first-round pick and more is because A, he was on a extremely cheap contract, and B, he's a guy who's just a rental. I think for a guy like, you could adding Scott Mayfield you can add him for $600K to your lineup. Shit. He's got, you know what I mean? You could eat half the cap. The Islanders could eat half the cap, and you're getting a guy that's less than what the actual minimum is to have a player on the roster. That's what I think made Scott Mayfield unbelievably valuable, and that he had 2 years on a contract getting paid $1.2 million a year. That's where I think Scott Mayfield's value lied.
Yeah, but you'd be getting Adam Pelech in his prime, right? 4 years, 28, 29, 30, 31. You're getting him in his prime.
You've already said you thought they peaked when they played that 2018-19 season, or 2019-20.
I do. I don't think he's getting any better. But those guys go for a lot. He's a top 4 defenseman. Those players go for a lot. I don't know where you've been. those players go for a lot at the deadline. Top 4 defensemen who actually can play defense go for a lot. They're worth a lot on the market.
Let me be as clear as possible. I think Adam Pelech can yield a first-round pick and then some. But the conversation for Romanov is not he's Adam Pelech. The conversation is Romanov's best case scenario is he can maybe be Adam Pelech. And that's a lot to give up it's a lot to give up a first-round pick for a guy who may be able to be Adam Pelech.
Okay, where was Adam Pelech at 22 years old?
In Bridgeport.
Thank you. This kid's playing in the NHL already.
It's the ceiling. It all has to do with, I just talked to you, it all has to do about the ceiling, man. Do you think
anyone think that Adam Pelech's ceiling when he was in Bridgeport was a top 4 defenseman, a rock solid top 4 defenseman? No.
It's not normal for people's ceilings to just continue to expand at the rate that Adam Pelech did. It's the reason why, right? He was drafted as a 3rd rounder. It's the reason why he wasn't an early pick. And it's the reason why it took him so long to get there, because it took him a while to reach his ceiling. Most people, hey, they get to it pretty quick. And that's why they're in the prime of their career at 25, 26, 27. And then they start to go ahead and get a little bit of a downward movement.
I'm willing to give the kid some more time. Is he a polished, finished product yet? He's not.
The entire conversation was he worth a first-round pick? All I have to say is this. He shows no offensive upside to me at all. He's a guy who looks a little lost in the defensive zone. I attribute that to new system, new partners. I'm not too worried about that. He's a guy who's physical. He's pretty much just a defensive defenseman, and he still needs to work on things on the defensive side of the puck. He offers nothing on the offense. That's all. That's all that comment was, Grumpy. At least for me.
I guess here's the thing. If you get a first-round pick, how many years till they're in your lineup? 2, 3, right?
You're looking at a 13th overall selection. Could be a year or 2.
2 years.
A year, maybe even.
Okay, but he's young. He's 22. Romanov's 22. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's not like he's 30. He's 22. I'm willing to roll a dice on a guy like that. You make a deal for a 30-year-old, no, that's not worth it. But for a 22-year-old who has growing to do in his game, I'm fine with that. I mean, he was a 2nd-round pick. I mean, like I said, I don't think he's sound defensively yet. They need to work on that. He throws the body without a doubt. He's a good enough skater. He just needs to have the rough edges, filed off of his game. That absolutely, without a doubt. I never thought he was going to be an offensive player. That's why I said him.
That's one of the things that they advertise him as. The guy has a lot of potential to grow offensively. I'm just saying I haven't seen any of that yet.
Maybe because he's so bad offensively that he has a lot of room to grow offensively because he's so bad offensively. It doesn't matter if he has any offense to his game, if he's teamed with Noah Dobson. It doesn't matter as long as he knows his role is to play defensive defenseman. If he starts rushing up the ice willy-nilly without that skill set and Dobson's got to come back, well, then it's a problem. But if he learns to stay in his lane and they just say, this is what we want from you. We don't want you, thinking you're Bobby Orr Jr. because you're not. That's what the other guy's for. If he can learn that and he's solid back there defensively, my concern, of course, is that he's not really sound positionally right now. Just hasn't been. That's something he needs to work on. The coaching staff needs to work on him on that. That's my concern, not the offense. Making sure that he's rock solid defensively is my issue with him.
Fair enough, Grumpy. Moving on. Frank K says here, offense is awful. So slow. Sorokin was outstanding.
100% agreement.
Brian B said, good evening, folks. What's up, Brian B? Matthew S says, was that Romanov or Aho who got beat by Kakko?
It was Romanov and Mayfield who got beat by Kakko.
Sal P said, good evening, fellas. Placing Bellows on waivers is a joke. He should be playing ahead of Parise, Palmieri, and Bailey. I'd agree.
Same here.
Okay. Brian J says, was Romanov really worth a first now? I told you guys, nope. I immediately said no, but I just think for the 13th overall selection, I don't know. It's a lot to give up for a guy that aspires to be Adam Pelech. And, here's the other thing. How many teams, we talk about our system is not a system that you play in 21st century hockey. It's not. There's going to be guys after Lane Lambert that want to play a little bit more of a freestyle, and that's something that he can't do. Anyway, Emmanuel R. said, good evening, gents. Why is Bailey on the first line when he was benched a few games ago? It's a good question.
Every year he manages to somehow play a bunch of games on the first line. Without any talent or any ability at all, somehow he's on the first line. Every year. Every single year, because they don't know where to put him. It's like, well, you know what? Let's put him with our best players on the first line. He can't hurt us up there because we got two really good players, or two players that we believe more in than him. That's why they put him up there, because he's a liability everywhere else.
Gungun says, fine fellows, how proud will you be of the Islanders if they manage to fart out a win tonight? Sometimes you win games you shouldn't, sometimes you lose games you shouldn't. And if we win tonight, I would classify that as a win that we shouldn't win or shouldn't have won. But that's fine. It's still a win. But there are going to be games later on in the season where we should win and we freaking lose. You're not going to see me saying, but we should have won that one. No, we lost. So, a win's a win.
Yeah. For me, I think we played well tonight. I mean, I think we've been pretty solid defensively. Sorokin's been really, really good. We're just lacking in offense, though. That's our issue. I mean, I'm not too concerned defensively. I mean, I think we'll be able to play defense all year, but it's the scoring. You're not going to win every game 1-0, 2-1. Not going to happen.
I just don't like them. Oh man, it just gives me that feeling of, my God, we're back into those freaking days. A 1-0 win or a 2-1 victory. It's just like, holy crap, here it comes again. The Wicker Man says, it's too early. By the way, Sebastian Aho only has logged 7 minutes of ice time through the first two periods. So what? They're utilizing Sebastian Aho, but to short shift him and not to play him out there every shift with Scott Mayfield.
Well, he's not going to be out there during power play or penalty kill. Just not going to be. There's been quite a few. We've had how many power plays today? 3, I believe. The Rangers have had
3
a couple
power plays and 2 penalty kills, I believe.
There you go. Well, there's 10 minutes of ice time he's never going to be on.
You figured, though, on the power plays, right? Mayfield's not playing on the 3 power plays either, so they would be fresh when they throw somebody else out there. I assume they're probably rolling that line out there first.
But Mayfield's going to play on the penalty kill.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just saying, it's not like, okay, gotcha, that, because Mayfield's playing on both the power play and the penalty kill, that he's got to rest up and wait until Mayfield's ready. Not necessarily the case. That's all I'm saying. The Wicker Man says, it's too early in the season to really be selling tickets. And Wicker Man also says, why did they put Bellows on waivers? They wanted to make sure that they had room for Salo. I assume Salo is going to get mixed back in the lineup at some point in time this season. Salo and Aho are going to be the 6th and 7th defensemen. So discern that information as you will. We're in a situation where Ross Johnston and Shushnikov get opportunities and chances over Kiefer Bellows. We know what we have in Ross Johnston. You don't fucking play him but like 10 times a year. I think Bellows at least has a chance to improve. It's just something that's just aggravating.
He looked good this preseason.
Yeah.
I thought in his limited ice time in game 1, I thought he looked fine there too. I don't know. Like I said, the kid must have killed somebody's dog or something like that. Maybe kill Lou's dog, run him over or something. I don't know. But it's like he can't catch a break.
Yep, they did waive him, JG. Absolutely. Brian J. also said Alex Catt would be looking nice on the Islanders right about now. That's Alex. Oh, DeBrincat Cat.
He's a guy who would have fit with Matt Barzal. What they give it? They give up a 1st-round pick. I think it was higher than ours. Chicago got from Ottawa.
It's like the 9th or something.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a deal I would have made. Did they even kick the tires on that? Or did Lamoriello think that they had enough offensively that they weren't doing that move? He was just all off season. We need to get defense. Need to get defense. Need to get defense. Well, you needed defense, but you know what? Yeah, desperately needed offense. Tell me you wouldn't like to see a line to Brinkett, Barzal, and Gaudreau. How's that for a first line?
DeBrincat was moved for the 7th overall pick, 39th overall pick, and a 3rd round pick in 2024. That's a lot. We wouldn't have been able to match that. That's a lot to give up. We would have had to give up a lot more. We would have had to give up first, second, something this next year, like a first in 2023. We'd have to give up a lot to get DeBrincat.
Well, a first and a second is just like a first and a third, what they got.
No, they got the 39th overall pick and the 7th overall pick.
Okay, I thought you said it was a first and a third.
They got a 3rd for 2024. They got
So they got 3 picks.
in this last year. Yeah, they got the 7th and the 39th, and they got the 3rd rounder in 2024.
Okay. I mean, we could have you could have done something. Maybe you could have moved Pavillier and gotten it. I don't know. You could have picked something else up.
Pavillier's looked exactly like what we thought and feared he would be, a 3rd-line winger. He hasn't had a particularly great start to the season. He is not the same Anthony Pavillier that we saw and fell in love with that first rookie season or in that sophomore campaign when he was paired up with Matt Barzal. He's just not that guy. He's not a guy that you can expect to score 50 points a season. He's a guy who is a streaky scorer at best, and on a good team, he's a 3rd-line left winger. Have you been, extremely impressed with his play so far this year?
No. But whose play has really impressed you in the offense this year? Anyone?
Matt Barzal, Oliver Wahlstrom. And if I'm picking a defenseman, Noah Dobson.
Okay, that's not much.
We haven't had a lot I know we've scored goal. Okay, Anders Lee. I'm not saying I'm ultra impressed with everything away from the puck, but what he's done in front of the net and what he's done as a garbage man, I think has been fantastic. I think he's done exactly what you expect of him. So I've been impressed with his play.
Okay. Who do you think has been disappointing in the offensive end?
A lot of players.
How about Brock Nelson?
Palmieri, Parise, Bavillier. The list goes on and on, man. Brock Nelson. Been disappointed with a lot of players.
0 goals for Brock Nelson so far this year. In Brocktober, no less.
Yikes. October is almost over, ladies and gents.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. We haven't seen any of the Brocktobers because there's been no goals in October for Brock Nelson.
He's tied for second in scoring with Matt Barzal with 6 points.
All assists, yeah. Gungun says the warden is giving you shit, Grumpy, because about the Islanders because she's not fully pleased with the paint job in your house.
No, she's actually happy with the paint job. I'm the one who obsesses over it.
Yeah, I was about to say, I heard nothing but raving reviews from the warden, but Grumpy was the one who had the issues with it.
True.
How much of the house did you think you repainted yourself over the painter?
I don't know percentage-wise, but enough where it pissed me off. Let me just put it to you that way.
Okay, now I need to know percentage-wise. I wasn't thinking about percentage-wise, but how much? I thought you were about to say a wall or 2 walls. How much percentage-wise of the house you say?
No, it was mostly just, trim the trim areas, the areas where you have to, kind of be really fine. Those are the areas. I'm not painting whole walls, but like certain areas, like, dude, you didn't do this. Why didn't you do that? It looks like shit.
God almighty. Tony Cheese says, where the fudge is Drew? I don't know. Good question, Tony. Good question. Good to see you, though. Apex Legends Senior Citizen says Lou will be giving Bellows away to fit Parise in the lineup. What a joke. Yes.
Yeah, I just don't understand the love for Zach Parise at 38 years old. What's the love affair with this guy? He's been on a downward spiral the last 4 or 5 years. He's never been great. He's been a good, solid player for a lot of years, but he's not great.
Remember the bullshit that, oh man, it just took Parise a while to gel here, but look at the production he had in the second half of the season. Zach Parise, man, he's going to be fantastic this year. And you pair him with Matt Barzal, I could easily see him scoring 20 goals. Well, Parise, 1 goal, 1 assist.
That was one of your buddies, by the way.
Well, I guess 1 goal, 2 assists. He had an assist tonight. He did touch the puck, I believe.
That was one of the potential 20 games goal scorers. Yeah, I don't think so. Again, you know what? These guys.
I redact that. He did not touch the puck. So he's got a goal and assist through 7 games this year.
These ex-Devils who seem to put up a bunch of points at the end of the year, that's typical Devils. After you're eliminated from the playoff, all of a sudden, no pressure's off. Hey, now we're great.
And The thing that always concerned me about Parise and even Palmieri, well, not so much Palmieri, but more Parise, you're playing them top line minutes. You're playing them because you play them on every single type of special teams you could throw them out there. How is a 38-year-old body going to hold up playing 15, 16 minutes a night? I think it's too much to ask for him. I think he's better in a 10-minute-a-night role as a third liner, to where the only time he fills in on specials is if something catastrophic occurs. He shouldn't be on the power play. He's on the power play.
Never.
I'm like, I just don't understand. We wonder, like, hey, wow, our power plays look kind of stagnant. The only thing that's offset our miserable power play is our fantastic penalty kill. If our penalty kill was not as stellar, we could be freaking winless right now.
Josh Bailey's still on the second power play unit. Think about
How
that.
the hell is Josh Bailey on the power play still?
Don't ask me.
Matthew S. said, brilliant idea. Frank says, thank God you guys are on. Thanks, Frank. What's up? Can we get loose socks? Oh, he's saying that the Potvin socks are a great idea. Absolutely. But loose socks, that'd be a fun little one. There we go. Brian J's on to the next Build-A-Bear idea.
Those are probably socks with holes in them.
I've got plenty of those. Got a comment here from Frank saying, I'm so mad about Bellows. I hate Lou even more.
They've never given the kid a shot. They've never given him remember what was his goal? I want to show everybody that I'm a guy who can play night in, night out, one game. And he actually showed he could play night in, night out in preseason, and he just doesn't. They just don't give him the chance. I mean, I just think that has to just if I'm him, I know, well, like you mentioned earlier.
I'm looking to leave. I'm defeated.
Yeah, it's like, dudes, why am I here? Why am I here? I'm not even the number 14 forward. I'm number 15 forward on this team.
Yeah. It's my God. You think about it, they have carbon copies of the same player. Martin and Ross Johnson are freaking like carbon copies of each other. I think Martin maybe offers a little bit more in the penalty kill part because he's a little more versatile there. But I'm like, you don't need bruisers and goons to fight every night. That's not the way the league is played anymore. It's not what we see anymore across the league.
Tell me Kiefer Bellows isn't a better player than Matt Martin at this stage.
For certain he is. I know Martin scored the goal, right? But I mean, how many points does Martin have? I know he did score that one goal.
1 point.
Okay.
I think the goal, that was it. But here's the thing. It was a nice pass from Corey Perry. Really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, Adam Fox just hit the crossbar. Sorokin is getting tested early and often this third period.
Well, maybe the
Rangers up on shots 30-20.
Maybe Gerard Gallant says, hey, you guys got to wake up.
Yeah, perhaps he did. Wade Flaherty said this team isn't good. At the game, 80% Rangers fans chanting Potvin sucks at Potvin as he's throwing socks into the crowd. God.
See, I'm sorry. If I'm
is
telling
it really
you
80% Ranger fans, or is it more like 60-40 or 50-50?
Maybe they're saying Potvin socks. I don't know.
Man, oh man. Gungun says, I think I'd be more of a fan of the Potvin socks concept if at least some of the proceeds went to charity. That's what I thought they were going to have, like a certain proceed went to charity XYZ. But
maybe he needs the money.
That's what it sounds like. If you're usually financially secure, you're not like, hey, I need these socks. It's somebody else. But like he probably came up with that idea, or somebody close to him came up with that idea, and he said, yeah, let's run with it. I would assume he probably needs the funds.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to buy those socks. I was about to say, I'll have to look at them online to see what size the socks are. Frank says Ranger fans are low class. Oh, no. Ooh. Brian J says, I love the fishermen. Some people hate the fishermen. They started an anti-fisherman coalition, Grumpy.
Just why? You know what it tells me? Your team's not any good to watch. If you're worried about some silly little alternate uniform and that, you're setting up silly little things like that over that, tells me your team sucks. Because if you were winning, you wouldn't give two craps about that.
Matthew says, go eat fish sticks and take it deep. Oh, man. Frank says, no way. Butchie is great. Cut him a break. It was one game, TJ. Stop being a millennial, he says. Dude, Butchie has struggled as a commentator he's not the same commentator he was before. It just happens with age.
He's in his 70s.
I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying it's just the freaking honest truth.
The only thing, okay, I could see him messing up the names of the guys on the other teams, but You got to know the names of the players on your own team.
Correct.
Walterson that's a bad one. That was a bad one.
God almighty, Walterson. That's good. I still kind of chuckle at it. JG said, concerned about the soft defensive plays. Kako skated straight into net, and Sorokin came up huge. Yeah, he split us like a warm knife through butter.
Yeah, I mean, he cut through the whole team, right? And Kako's the guy that, Kako, we've heard people say, Kako sucks. He's finished. He's no good. They should move Kako. Yeah, he's another guy who's 19 years old, 20 years old? Stop.
They should have just waived him, Grumpy.
Yeah.
That's what they should have done. He's not showing much. Let's go ahead and get rid of him. We don't need to give him a chance. Let's give him 7 minutes ice time. Greg Frost says, Butch is the new Pierre Maguire. Oof.
I like Pierre Maguire.
Oof. I know that Pierre Maguire is not used here in a good way.
Yes, I know.
Oh, man. Sorokin is amazing, said Frank. Absolutely. And Potvin lives in Florida, I believe.
I don't know if he still lives in Florida or not. Maybe he does.
I couldn't tell you. Goon says, I just can't decide which New York baseball team provided a more disappointing end to a once promising season. Can you both help me make up my mind for me? Grumpy, Yankees or Mets? Who is more disappointing? I'd say the Mets, right? I think the Yankees, we all had the expectation the home run ball wasn't going to result in successful items in the postseason. We knew the Mets hitting was a struggle point, but I wasn't expecting the pitching to suck so bad. I mean, Scherzer came out and had a shitty game when he was out there in the postseason, and Bassett was like, not much better. I was more shocked with the Mets because the pitching just wasn't there.
It was the Yankees, and it's because secondarily, they say they're going to keep Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone. Well, guess what that means? You're going to just repeat next year what happened this year.
Oof.
How many years you got to see the same thing? Houston's like, great, we're going to the World Series next year too. That's what they're saying. They ain't beating us. Somebody I think made mention of it that right now we are the Minnesota Twins to the Yankees in the 90s, where they just the Yankees swept Minnesota every year in the playoffs. And that's what we are. We're just sweep fodder for the Houston Astros right now.
The Astros are a good team. That's for certain. I just am more disappointed with the Mets because, right, the Dodgers didn't win. The path was clear, I thought, right? You didn't have to go even through the Dodgers. Brian J says, Butch has to hang it up. It's over, dog. Oh, good gracious. And Ledecky is a moron, says Brian J. I thought it was nice when he was out there doing, obviously presenting that item, presenting for Stan Fischler. Brandon Gaines says, we know this team's not good enough. An external winger wasn't making the team a cup finalist. 5-on-5, 90% of the players look like garbage. Tear it down and blow it up. The forward group, except for Barzal and Wallstrom, having only 1 year left makes Mayfield and Varlamov very attractive rentals as well. I agree, but you're right. 5-on-5, we have not looked good. I know we got a goal 5-on-5 today, but you look at the first 6 games, we have looked, again, I'm not including the games where we were the best team out there on the ice playing against, bottom 5 teams in the league, but against the good teams, we have looked out of place in 5-on-5 hockey.
Yeah, we look like we're the Washington Generals to the Harlem Globetrotters against playoff caliber teams, excluding today.
Brian J said, Ledecky, the guy needs to brush his teeth and see a dentist. Oh no.
Bold statement.
Shay says, hi guys. I know TJ saw it, but Grump, did you see the Fisherman Lighthouse semi-combined logo I made for a shirt? Let me show that to you, Grumpy. Grumpy did not. I saw it and I liked the way it looked. I'll show it to you, Grumpy. Give me a second here. I will give another comment. I'll let you read as I'm getting those items pulled up.
Okay. Brandon Gaines says, we kicked the can so many times like the Mets did with their core in the mid-2000s. Got to recognize here when it's time for a change. 100% agree.
All righty, Grumpy. Let me go ahead and show this to you. I like the way this design looks here. The lighthouse with Islanders on it, Grumpy.
I like that. I like the Fisherman as the main jersey, as the main crest.
I do like the Fisherman too, but I like this little combination.
I like to have the shoulders have the lighthouse though. That much I like.
We did that one. What's up, Frank? How are you? JG says, doesn't Stan Fish resemble the fisherman?
A really old fisherman.
A really old fisherman, huh? Oh, man. Josh Bailey scores a redirection goal and on net against Jarl Halak. A tip in for Josh Bailey. Wow. Who would ever figure he would go down low in that?
I don't know. Maybe he saw a juice box on top of the top of the net.
Or a sippy cup. Okay. Or a sippy cup. Fair enough. Okay. Shay said, yep, I made a poster for Sallow. If he was still in Bridgeport on Saturday, I'll give it to him at the game. Did Halak even see that shot?
I don't know. I didn't even see it. I don't know.
Gungun says, Grumpy, any chance of you dressing up as an Isles fisherman for the show that falls closest to the Halloween this year?
No chance.
Oh, no. Grumpy, I tell you. One thing I didn't notice, the Islanders or the Rangers are playing their third game in 4 days.
Oh, that helps.
I was about to say they played Sunday. They played. They didn't play Monday, but they played Tuesday, Wednesday. So third game in 4 days.
Oh.
You're gonna be a little gas. This is gonna be a game good. We should be able to start pouring it on. Matt Barzal, another assist. Matt Barzal still has not registered a goal yet this year. Who would have put it in the freaking? Who would have put it? Hey, Josh Bailey's going to score a goal this year before Matt Barzal does. Certainly not I.
Not me.
Why wouldn't somebody take a flyer on talking about Kiefer Bellows? I don't know. Good question. I'm sure
A bad team should.
Yeah.
If you're a team in rebuild and you know it, San Jose, Anaheim, maybe even Ottawa, even though Ottawa's playing much better this year, why not take a roll of dice on somebody like that? What's the word? You just waive him again if you don't like him. He's not like he's making $5 million a year.
Shay says, waive Johnston, not Bellows.
Isn't that why they signed him to that big that 4-year contract? Because
he was waiver proof.
Aren't those the guys you waive? I don't know.
Oh my God. Bailey almost missed that goal. Holy shit. I'll show it to you on screen. Bailey hit that top shelf. I think he almost flubbed his lines, but it went. I mean, it's a nice goal, but holy crap. It almost looks like he flubbed his lines on this one, Grumpy. I'll get it pulled up. It was one to where when you look at it zoomed in, he hits it top shelf, but I don't think he was intending for that to happen. And the Islanders are going to be on the penalty kill. But Bailey, Grumpy, gets a goal this year before Matt Barzal. Who would ever?
That's a little surprising. I
would not have bet that.
While you pull that up, I'm going to hit some more comments.
Well, I've already got it pulled up. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I don't know if you see how high this puck hits. Yeah. It hits top shelf. And I don't think it was intended to go top shelf.
I'm just going to say good goal. How about that?
Okay. Fair enough.
Yep.
I'm happy he scored. I'm like, whoo, buddy, that was close. That was close. He puts it in the back of the net. It was the pass by Pulak, I think that is in the corner, was even better.
No.
It was Pellick. Nice pass by Pellick. Fantastic pass by Pellick. So, good job all the way around. Good job, Bailey, coming in front of the net. Not something he usually does. Puck trap for the second period. I'll let you start reading through some of these.
Half this roster deserves to be waived, according to John A. 100%. Bill Burdock says, I'm on the blow up the team train now. The team is hard to watch.
Yep.
Brian John says, bring back Mike Sillinger. Doug Waite back to play. Hey, we at least I know Doug Waite will set people up.
Frank says, I got to go to a Bridgeport game. I'm only 30 minutes away. Goon Grumpy.
10% of the proceeds go towards children's charities, sales of Podvin socks. I stand corrected. Well, there you go.
Well, there it is. That's good to see. God almighty. Romanoff takes a delay of game penalty. Josh Bailey, 1 game away from 1,000. They just showed that up on screen. I pray he clears waivers, says Frank. You and I. Well, here's the thing. Kind of hope he does, kind of hope he doesn't, because I wouldn't mind him going and actually getting a legitimate chance of showing what he can do. Tony Chi says, now the doctor wife thing makes sense. TJ needs special socks. I'm not sure what that means, Tony.
I don't mean either. Matt Carbone says, after this year, if they miss the playoffs and get bounced in round 1, maybe it means tear the team down. Mm-hmm. Shay says Pajot has been atrocious so far this season. Yeah, he's been nondescript, kind of like last year. right? We wondered with a guy who plays that smaller guy who plays that type of, 100% all the time, running people into the boards as a smaller guy. Maybe he just burns out at 30. Looks like it could be the case.
I mean,
Stephen S. says,
really quickly to comment off of that too. Have we really been impressed? I know they've got goals. Have we been impressed with what we've seen out of Kyle Palmieri? Have we been impressed with what we've seen out of Zach Parise? Right? No. 2 points is not necessarily something I'm saying, oh wow, fantastic. He's playing great hockey. Hell no, I'm not saying that. 2 points in 7 games. And a guy, Palmieri is just another guy who's off to to play on the first line. And you played with a line mate who's got himself however many points. He's got himself now 8, or he's got himself 7 points so far this season, all in assists. You'd expect that the puck would just trickle in the net. I mean, Palmieri's got 2 points this year too. A goal and assist. That's it. Yes, Grumpy Stephen S.
Says Isles versus the Rangers, Battle of New York. Either way, one New York team is going to get a win. Another news, I'm getting digs on my team now heading into week 8. Win this week, we get a bye week. Okay.
Absolutely. Brian J said this team needs to relocate and never look back.
Not
God. Damn, Brian J. What is going on there, my friend? I'll let you read that.
Like DJ.
Oh, is that what it's saying? It sounds like me. I'm ready to relocate. I'm just saying the Property Brothers want to relocate the team.
Oh, okay. Brandon Gaines says, who cares about the playoffs? They're not winning the cup. Do what the Blues did in 2016-17 and sell despite being up in the playoff picture. That's what they should do. Matthew C says that makes no sense. Frank of Empire State. I'm gonna blow by the ones that are actually describing the game. Goon says wave Bellows and don't play Johnston, but keep a bunch of slow, boring old farts. Lord Lou rules. Very true. Very confusing. Wickerman says he's still young. Exactly. Wave Josh Bailey. Thank you. Brian John says, Matt Carbone, you'll see that they will sell the team soon and relocate. That's a TJ Tommy Baffy special. Brian is full in on that train. Brock Nelson missed a shot, it looks like. Lambert isn't playing the young talent like Trotz. That's why I'm wearing the Barry and the vet shirt today, because that's what it seems like to me. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Jeff Sobel says if the team does not think much, then trade him. Exactly, Jeff. Jeff G says that's the 3rd time Brock is whiffed. Well, yeah. He's not been good this year. We knew he was going to come back down to earth. Maybe not to this extent, but still. Brian John wants to bring back Garth Snow. I think that's drastic. Matthew Carbone says, can't believe Potvin would even consider it. Dave Janssen says, is it Brock Vember yet? No. Shay says also, if Lou didn't like or want him, why resign him this summer? That's the thing that confuses me. Did the same thing with Aho till his career rotted on the vine. You're seeing it with Bodie Wild, and you see with Kiefer Bellows. If you don't want a guy, just move on. Stephen S. says, if you thought the video of a baseball getting foul back and hitting the camera was scary bad, wait till you see the fast chuckle nuts, but better video recommended. You put up 5 to 6. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what that means either. But let me ask you this, Grumpy. Speaking about the game, I have to say Sorokin's #1 star, right?
Absolutely.
37 saves so far today. He has kept us in this game, no doubt about it. Unbelievable night for him again. And he's one of those type of special goalies that has the ability to just take control of the game and just go ahead and dictate the result.
Yes.
A special type of guy.
I mean, Halak just looks shaky. He just looks shaky in that. Can't field anything, just shaky.
Yep. Absolutely not. Lay off the drugs. Rob G said, how about those Islanders penalty killers? I'd say, right, that we've killed every penalty off successfully so far this season. Don't expect that to be something that remains the entire year, right? Just looking at the law of averages, right? If we're so hot on the penalty kill so far, do I think we're going to be the best penalty killing team this year? Probably not. But maybe we are. We do have one of the best right? The best penalty kill you can have is a fantastic goalie, right?
Absolutely.
So maybe we end up top 5 in penalty kill, but I still expect us to give up penalty goals or power play goals. Never mind, it's 3 seconds. I don't know what it is, Steven. More than half of the roster is all Garth Snow.
True.
Yeah, I mean, even you look at Sorokin, they brought him over, but that was a Garth Snow selection.
Yeah. Doesn't mean you want him back.
No, of course you don't want him back. The Wicker Man says the retreads should be playing what the young players play, a D, vice versa.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly what that means, to be honest.
Me neither.
Frank says, I'm so upset about Bellows. I actually thought Bellows would play with Barcelona tonight.
He ain't playing with anybody anytime soon.
Owen J says, please fire Lane Lambert. Oh, man. I'd say the line combinations definitely leave me questioning certain things. That's for certain. It's just like we go to the blender. I wonder if we're going to go to the blender tomorrow, right? Because it's tomorrow we play against the Avalanche, right?
I think we play Carolina on Friday. I think it's Carolina on Friday, and I don't know when we play Colorado Saturday, maybe.
It'd be nice. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. It makes sense. Friday. Yep. The Hurricanes. The Hurricanes are an away game. And then we play the Avalanche at home. Oh no, we're gonna have to travel all the way from Raleigh, North Carolina to New York, Grumpy. And I'm not sure. Maybe it's gonna throw all their schedules off. Mark A says, please sit Beauvillier. Oh, there it is. Goon says, is Lou Lamoriello Dave Gettleman?
No, he's not.
Who do you think is better? Let me ask you that. Now, at this point, I mean, Gettleman was bad, right? Towards the tail end for the Giants.
Yeah, but Lamoriello does nothing. It would be like trading away if you're a football team, trading away all your draft picks for first-round draft picks for guys who are 30 years old, 30-year-old running backs. How would that work out?
Not well.
Yeah.
John A says, I have zero ideas how you couldn't get any draft pick regardless of how late round of a pick. The asset management of this front office has been absolutely atrocious over the last few years. I agree with you. It's just, that's the thing that drives me nuts, is knowing that we have value and not getting the value back in return. They were showing a picture up on screen, Grumpy, a little while ago. Gallant and Lane Lambert played on the same college team.
Oh, wow. Did not know that.
Jeff Sobel, Grumpy's got a comment for you.
When Bailey was a healthy scratch, I thought Bellows would play in place of Bailey. But no, Shushnikov plays, and he makes the bad play, which led to a goal against. True.
And I apologize. Maybe it was the same exact WHL team, but they showed them together looking young, Grumpy. And I was like, "Holy, okay, wow, yeah." I think it was the same juniors team, but I'd have to look that up. But they looked young together, obviously, so they've got some sort of knowledge with each other. Amari Production says, "Guess whose birthday it is? Happy birthday, Amari Production!"
It's Amari Prod's birthday.
Amari Production, happy birthday, my friend. The Wicker Man says Trotz is still being paid by the Islanders.
They were talking today on the pregame or maybe intermission, I don't know, saying that they thought that Barry Trotz maybe would be a good fit for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
He almost just made me spit my fucking drink up. Holy crap, what a bad move that would be.
For who? That's the question. Would it be for Barry Trotz?
For the Maple Leafs. For the Maple Leafs. Are you kidding me?
They could use a little bit of structure.
Okay. A little bit.
And supposedly, they said what Barry Trotz is about is when you're on offense, you could do whatever you want. That's your time to be creative. But when you play defense, you're on his time.
Oh,
that's wrong.
Shit. It's bullshit. Hold on. Who was saying that? Was this the Islanders telecast?
All the guys on TNT, all of them said that.
Wow.
They all agreed.
They must not have paid too close of attention when Barry Trotz is the head coach of the Islanders.
Matt Barzal was going in the offensive zone.
And we get pissed off. Yeah, stop. The media bomber, whatever that is, says sometimes Bailey looks like he's playing for the other team.
True.
I'd agree with you. I'd agree with you there. Brian J says, was Romanoff worth the first now? I don't think so.
We've already touched on that.
He asked it again, but I guess he wanted you. For who? The reserves are awful. talking about we should go ahead and sit Pavillier. Brandon Gaines says they couldn't get any picks for Bellows because the coaches hardly played them to give other general managers a proper sample size.
And that's the thing. If you're trying to maximize the value of an asset, that's what you do. It seems like we go out of our way to depreciate the asset and then we try to move it. It's like, how stupid is that?
Shay says, I wouldn't want a line of Bellows, Barzal, and Wallstrom together. Not great defensively there.
Well, I agree with that.
Yeah, we look at it, the skating, only one guy on that line is a good skater. That too. And we talk about how everybody lags behind him. That would be the same way. Amari Productions also says Bavillier, Barzal, Wallstrom is ideal for me.
I agree.
They put Bailey in the first line because of the BS 1000 game coming up. They're more concerned with that than what's best for the team.
Stunning.
Well, hey, he's got himself a goal tonight, Grumpy. That should buy him time in the lineup for the next 20 games.
Probably our second leading goal scorer.
Shay says our whole team is third and fourth liners.
True.
Wickerman says Sorokin is the best player. Absolutely, he is. Shay, they're also saying Bailey will reach 1,000 games, whether he's on the first line or not. And we're winning tonight, says Frank. 11 shots was bad. Yeah, they have to win tonight, the Islanders. Here's the thing. Even if the Islanders win tonight, it still does not change the expectation of the outcome of the season. It's just a one game and a game of 82 game season. That's all. Yes, Palmieri did score. We got some palms over there. Palmieri with the goal. Frank says my 20 to 25 goal prediction will come true for Kyle Palmieri.
I don't think so.
Frank, I think we got a long way to go to that. And thank God Halak's in net, says Frank C. He's miserable.
That's 100% true.
Here you go, Grumpy.
Zeppelin, come on. Goon. He's just playing with you now, TJ.
I don't even know who Devo is.
Whip it.
Okay. Halak is finished, says Frank C. Absolutely, he is. Mark Production says, Palmieri, best player in hockey. Yes. Wayne Gretzky, who? The only person I know is Kyle Palmieri.
Field hockey, I think, is what he left out the field part.
Oh, well, it's got to be the special type of field hockey. It's got to be like some Paralympic field hockey or something like that. He's not even the best in normal field hockey, Grumpy. Because those sticks are tiny. I thought you'd have to get so low to hit it with that stick. Well, maybe he's low to the ground already.
I thought he could be like one of those guys they put out there, in between periods, and they let him score, skate through the whole team like that.
Oh man. Or they go ahead and say, here you go, Kyle Palmieri, take a shot from center ice to win an SUV, and you get a little tiny. You'd be probably pretty good at that. John A said Halak has always looked shaky against us. Look back at the games versus Boston. That's true. I guess I didn't think of that too. The F- gets one, says Matthew S. Halak needs to hang it up, says Brian Jet. Yeah, he was a miserable goal to let in. JG says, TJ, you got to give Palmieri a little credit. That was a good shot. Dude, that was a shitty shot. But that's the thing. When you throw enough pucks, it's like when Bavillier scored against Brian Elliott. I said, wow, what a shitty shot. But goalies, they have lapses of judgment, and they struggle at times. They lose focus. And he gave up an easy-to-save goal, a routine save Brian Elliott did. I didn't say, wow, what a goal by Bavillier. I'm not going to say, wow, what a goal by Palmieri. I mean, that's just a weak goal to let in. But that's the thing. When you throw enough shots on net, you're going to get rewarded. Throw the puck on net. That simple. Islanders, despite being up 2-0 today, being outshot 41-26. 5 minutes remaining in the third. Tony Cheese saying, guys, I think we just need to trust the process. Lou knows what he's doing. And he believes in Lane Lambert. I know Tony Cheese is just messing with us now. Oh, Tony Cheese. First day back, and Tony Cheese is back to his antics again. We love it. Shay said Reimer is San Jose's starter. Did we not play against Reimer when we played him?
Yeah, we did play against Reimer. He just looks like a backup. He was terrible.
Oh, man. Oh, Blackwood's in there. I'll tell you, Jonathan Bernier, when healthy, is a starter for the Devils, so that's a backup in my opinion. Bernier for life, Grumpy. Frank says, give them some time. Jeez, WTF. It's a new coach in a new system.
It's not a new system. It is not a new system. And it's really not a new coach. They know him. Been there for 4 years.
I'd say that they're pretty. If we're putting the new coach and new system, I say this is the most vanilla milk toast new coach new system we can. It's not like he went from eating white bread and with ham and mayonnaise on it to eating spicy chipotle. You went from eating a ham sandwich to eating a turkey sandwich. It's the same shit.
Okay.
You like when I go ahead and do those comparisons for you?
No, I don't, because they always miss the mark every single time.
Oh man. Shay says, from here we start to tank for Bedard. That'd be nice.
Okay.
People ripping the Islanders after 6 games. Yeah, that's it's Frank. It's not after 6 games. We're ripping the Islanders after 88 games. This is exactly what we saw last year. We're now ripping after 89 games. People complained last year was an aberration. It was not. The exact same shit we're seeing this year. That's what bothers me. It's not. I don't even care what the record is per se. I care how we're playing. Have you been impressed with what you've seen on the ice? This is the Rangers' 3rd game in 4 days.
But I think we played well tonight. I mean,
Really? Hold on. Really? You think we played well tonight?
What I saw, the little bit, this is the best we can play.
You think we? Oh, okay. The best we can play is getting dominated in 5-on-5 hockey, scoring a weak goal that breaks the tie early on, and Sorokin having to stand on his head and essentially have a shutout to win a game against a playoff caliber team.
That's how we have to win games.
Wow, we're in trouble, guys. If that's the best case scenario for us, we are in real trouble this year. Shay said, just kidding. I'm not out on this team yet. You will be, Shay. Give it time. Frank says we're making the playoffs. I think the best case scenario is we are a fringe playoff team.
I agree that eventually this team will make the playoffs.
Oof. Brian J says Fredo is going to take over the Islanders after this season. Yikes. Pellick has been impressive to me, but that's about it. Talking about Amari Productions. I'll tell you. Matthew S says, nah, let him keep playing. Wickerman, Grumpy. I think it's the coaching.
I disagree. Just to let you know that Halak misses another one. 2nd goal of the night for Kyle Palmieri in the replay.
Oh, was it a good shot?
That was a good shot.
We're giving him credit on that one.
Yep, over the top shoulder, hit the top of the crossbar, went in so fast and bounced out that they did not call it a goal. Halak sucks. He's terrible.
Oh my God, I haven't seen the replay of it, but my God, what a shot! Here it is. This should be a typical Palmieri, where he's like, "I'm going to score 3 goals against Arizona."
I expect Anders Lee to score a couple now, maybe Brock Nelson.
Game's
over.
That's a good shot. That's a good shot.
Yeah, it was a good shot.
I'm going to give him credit on that one. The first one was weak beyond all belief. Halak is finished, though, as a goalie. That's correct.
Yeah, he's done.
But Matthew C says, let's see after 20. Do we really need to see another 20 games? Was the 82-game season and this year's start not enough to say maybe we're in trouble? For me, it is. This is the best hockey game we could play, and we scratched our way to a 3-0 lead with some.
Always play well against the Rangers. Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Mm-hmm. Wickerman says, pretty sure Varlamov will be gone at the deadline. Well, if we're at sell mode, he certainly will be. Kadri's lighting it up, says Rick C. Is he really? Not some Kadri. I haven't really kept up with that.
I could care less. He's in Calgary, right?
Yeah, but I'm interested. Well, here it is. We move Palmieri to the 3rd line. He plays a little. Yeah, Kadri. Holy shit. 6 games, 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points. Wow. Holy shit.
That's okay. I still didn't want him here.
I didn't either, but I'm like, I was not expecting that hot of a start.
And his thing, he wouldn't be scoring those numbers here.
Correct. I agree with you. Stephen S says, I really did reverse jinx the Canucks, didn't I? I said they'd be top 4 Pacific Division this year. And and the take didn't really age quite so well so far. Canucks fans, I apologize for doing this to you. The Canucks are a team that you just look at how they're structured. They got a lot of guys who are very soft, who are very finesse, don't have really much grit to them, don't have really steady it in the defensive side of the puck, and do not have great goaltending. It's going to suck.
True.
Yeah. Matthew C says, yeah, Shesterkin saved that first shot. Absolutely, he would have. We get a lot for Varlamov. I like Corey Perry as the backup.
Corey Schneider.
I'm sorry, Corey Schneider. Thinking Corey Perry. The Wicker Man says Varlamov is too good to be back. Varlamov would be a starter on a handful of teams in the league.
A lot of teams sure would.
He does have that 16-team no trade clause, though. JG says, TJ, are you sure you're not a Rangers fan? No, I'm not a Rangers fan. But I mean, like, tonight was not. I know we're up 3-0. Are we really that? I mean, like, did we look dominant tonight? No. I don't think so. I think the Rangers looked a better team.
Yeah, when your goaltender sucks, when your goaltender sucks. I mean, I thought they played really well against Colorado last night.
Okay, against Shesterkin, we lose this game every day of the week.
Well, you don't know that. Sorokin gets up playing Shesterkin. I'm not saying we lose today. I mean, Sorokin won us this game today. It was fantastic.
Sorokin's a top 5 goalie in the NHL. Sorokin, again, deserves Vezina votes at the end of the season. And the shitty thing is, because he plays on a bad team, he may never win a Vezina.
I'm not concerned about that right now.
I'm just saying. This is a guy, if you throw him on any other team in the league, a team that wins, he would be top 3, top 5 in Vezina voting every single season. Do you disagree with that?
Not necessarily. I think he's the best player on our team. I mean, he's great. He's really, really good.
You don't think playing on a better team with? I think the thing that hurts him for Vezina Trophy voting is because he doesn't win enough games.
But we play a solid defense also. I mean, we're a defensive structure team. Maybe it'd be different if he played on a team where it's run and gun all the time. You don't know.
We've surrendered 41 shots today. And we surrendered time periods where freaking people were cutting through our defense like a freaking warm knife through butter.
Okay.
Shay says the Islanders are allergic to putting pucks in the net. Generally speaking, yes. The Wickerman says put the puck on net and good things happen. Exactly.
Very true.
Goalie's going to let some weak ones in. You have to do it. F him. He's a piece of shit, says Matthew S. talking about, I think, about Palmieri. Shay says, we also looked faster against Anaheim and the Sharks.
Yeah, I think the Islanders came out and skated well today against the Rangers.
The Wickerman says Sorokin is definitely capable of the shutout. Well, Wickerman said that an hour ago, and hey, it came true, Grumpy. Came true. He was capable, and he saw and conquered. John A. says, the Rangers played Colorado last night. Why would they play Shesterkin versus us instead?
Oh, no, they wouldn't.
No. They wouldn't. Yeah, they're the better team. You put your better goalie against a better team, and you hope your backup can win a game against a team who's less talented. That simple. Freaking Aho, says Frank. There's a power play. Andrew L. said, why can't he watch the goddamn game? How is he supposed to make comments on it? I just wish he could multitask, man. JG said, this is an Islanders podcast, right? Why wouldn't you want to watch the game? If we're trying to just watch the game, what type of content do you think is provided to you guys? That's what it's all about, right? We could just not ever do a podcast, just watch the game, but it doesn't, I think, provide anything for you guys. Nick D said, TJ Grumpy, how are you guys doing tonight? What's up, Nick D? I'm doing well. How about you? Rough times are afoot. Would you trade for Bo Horvat in a package deal? I'm just curious as to what you guys think. That's all.
I don't see Vancouver moving Bo Horvat.
They just signed him to that extension.
Yeah. Why would they move him?
What
would they want? You have to, let's put the shoe on the other foot test. What has value on this team to a team like Vancouver? No, but I'm serious. They're not going to be looking for a Scott Mayfield or a Varlamov, or, maybe they'd look at a Beauvillier, but that's not enough to get you Horvat. They're looking for younger players. They're a rebuilding team. That's why you move at the deadline. You move yourself a Varlamov. You move yourself a Mayfield. You get yourself draft picks. We're just in reload now. I hate to say it. Just how, and like I said, I'm willing to give it until we see this first 10-game stretch. I mean, we won tonight, so that's 3-4.
Hold on? Are you really thinking that 10 games are going to be in the green? We're going to be positive after 10 games this season?
I don't think so, but you never know. What if we win the next 2 games and we're singing?
We're not winning the next 2 games. We're
Okay.
not a good team. We're not, what? Okay, what makes you think we're winning the next 2 games? Okay, what's more logical? We beat the Rangers because this is their 3rd game in 4 days, and we're playing their backup goalie who let in freaking Sharman soft, weak goals today, or the fact that wow, our team just is starting to round the bend, and we're going to beat the teams like the Rangers and the Carolina Hurricanes and the Colorado Avalanche. What do you think is more likely?
Okay, I'm not saying what's more likely. I'm just saying I'm willing to give them the 10 games to see where we're at. But after that, let's say we're 4-6 or 3-7. They kind of have to say, this isn't going to happen this year, right?
If we're going to be 4-6, what that means is exactly, hey, we beat 3 really shitty teams and 1 good team. In a circumstance that benefited us, because we're not beating the Hurricanes on Friday. Do you think we're beating the Hurricanes? Or maybe we'll play the Hurricanes on their 3rd game in 4 days. I haven't checked the schedule yet. People bitched about the scheduling we had against. Yeah, okay. So no, So the Hurricanes are going to have a lot of rest. The last time they played was on Monday. I wonder if they're going to have dead legs against us.
That means they probably play tomorrow night.
No, they don't play. They play Monday, and the next game is Friday.
Oh, okay. Maybe they'll come out flat to start the game.
I'm not worried about that. I think the Hurricanes have looked good so far this year, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, the last couple of games they've struggled a little bit. Lost a couple of games.
4-1.
Yep.
I don't know. That's pretty impressive start to me. But yeah, I mean, like, right?
3
If we start off
pretty good. 3-4 is a pretty good start.
I wonder who's 3-4. Oh, wait a second. The Islanders are. But you look at it. If we start off the year 4-6, we did pretty much exactly what we were expecting. The 3 really shitty teams we beat, San Jose, Anaheim, and we probably beat Chicago, and we punched 1 game above our belt, or 1 game above our weight class. That's it. Tim J says, most of the time the Islanders are making stupid passes instead of 1 player shooting, somebody going to the net for the rebound.
It's a nice little setup in his YouTube picture there.
I like that too. Got a little bit of the Islanders memorabilia. We look better on the power play tonight, says Matthew S. We're still not getting the results on the power play.
No goals on the power play.
I was about to say, the only thing that has been saving our anemic power play is our fantastic penalty kill. The best in the league penalty kill. That's it. I hate Ranger announcers, says Matthew C. Brian B says Bailey is absolutely useless. He is. Coogan said, I rather fancy the sleek-looking black Jets helmets. They'll be sporting this Sunday. Have you merry men seen them yet? If not, by golly, pull up a photo, Grumpy. I've seen those. What do you think about those black? What do you think about the black helmets? I like the green helmets more, just because when I think of the Jets, I think of the green.
Yeah, they're okay. They're okay.
Okay. Sounds great. Thanks. The Islanders are outplaying them. Ignore shots, TJ. I don't know. I think I think the Rangers look better. I just think bad goaltending hurt them, and maybe dead legs or tired legs. Angelo M says, hey guys, what's up, Angelo? Wickerman says, TJ, the problem is the same problem for the last couple of years. They don't score. Penalty kill is good with their defense and goalie, though. They don't score enough goals, though.
True.
Shay says the Islanders scored a power play goal against the Panthers. Panthers 1 on opening night, 2 on Sunday. We got 3 power play goals this year. 7 games. Yeah. Brian J says waive half of the team.
Just like make sure it's the right half.
Good gracious. Frank says Aho is like a pylon. The Rangers just skating around him. Aho is terrible. I just don't understand how he's getting time over Salo, and it caused us. Here's the thing: after you just waive Bellows, if he clears through waivers, you're not saying, "Hey, we're gonna waive now Aho," because remember, Aho would have to get waived. He's on a one-way contract this year. He would have to get waived as well.
Yes, that's correct.
Wow. Okay. Wicker Man, we'll just do a few more comments, Grumpy, and then wrap up, okay?
Someone will end up claiming Bellows and Salo. Well, Salo's not being waived.
Yeah, he's not waived.
Isn't even playing. I don't know what they're doing. I don't think Lou knows what they're doing. I don't think Lou knows what they're doing either.
I had the sound off on the TV and listening to the Islanders Never Stay Die podcast instead. How proud are you both? I'm proud of you, Goon Goon. I'm happy. Salo is up, Frank. Absolutely. Grumpy, how proud are you of Goon Goon?
Very proud.
I like that, Grumpy. You seemed that seemed very enthused. Freedom, fun, and adventure. That's a new picture right there. The little doggo, the little retriever says, the more I watch the show, the more I realize Grumpy is playing chess and TJ is playing Hungry Hippos. I'm pissed. Not like the TJ Rage episode on draft night, but Bellows has upside. Hold on. What? How? I don't even get this statement. I'm playing Hungry Hippos while you're playing chess.
It's because you're stupid, is what he's trying to say.
Or maybe he's saying, with my ability to gather so much information and spit so much information out, I'm coming out the leader of this Hungry Hippos game, Grumpy, and we're gathering so many people from outside of the Islanders Never Say Die podcast walls, Grumpy, that's what I'm doing in Hungry Hippos, and you're sitting back quietly playing chess. I like the Hungry Hippos mentality, Grumpy. We need more of the Hungry Hippo mentality out of you, Grump.
You like the Hungry Hippos game because they eat the marbles. That's anything that do to eating. You like that. I don't think
balls.
Once again, you did one of those ham-handed freaking scenarios where you try to draw some type of ridiculous comparison that falls flat on its face. Everyone knows it's not. Everyone knows. You can delude yourself into thinking that you're Wile E. Coyote super genius, but you're not.
Grumpy, have you been tired today? Is that what's throwing you off? You seem like
you're just exasperating today. You're so nasty today.
I'm nasty today.
Everyone notices. You seem like you're reveling in your nastiness as well.
I'm reveling in my nastiness. Okay,
yes.
Sure, Grumpy. Or maybe you're just Grumpy. I just think you're tired. You're just a little bit. Do we need to let you get a little sleep today? You see, your eyes seem like they're tired, dude. Looks like you barely keep.
Is there a reason why you are continuing to badger me on the show today? The people know.
The people.
Look at the comments. I don't see any of these comments say, "Yeah, TJ, you're right." They're just saying, "What the hell, TJ?"
I thought you didn't read the comments, Grump.
I'm listening to them as you're reading them. I am listening to them as you're reading them. There's been no pro TJ comments here. None.
I don't think there's any reason to be pro TJ or pro Grumpy. We're talking New York
millennials. That's like a common refrain.
It's a common refrain because you and
isn't this an Islander podcast?
Yes.
Why aren't you letting him watch the game, TJ? How can he comment on the game if he doesn't see anything?
He doesn't multitask well. And when you're not doing that, it's like when I made the comment about Aho, and you just say, yes.
Well, I didn't. I had to do some thinking on it. I did some thinking on it.
As you're watching TV, dude, I
wasn't watching TV. Again, just move on from that. Dude, I haven't watched
on from it. Pretend like it doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
It does happen. That's why
it doesn't happen.
Oh my! What do you mean it doesn't happen?
It doesn't happen.
Every damn podcast you're watching some sort of show.
You're wrong. You're wrong. You're insane. You're insane. You realize you're just insane, right?
When you're going and looking on the left-hand side of the screen.
Oh my God!
You act like I don't know the layout of your house. What are you doing? Huh? Yeah, Jesus Christ is right. Look, man thinks Salo is better than Aho. My dead grandmother's better than Aho. Wow, that's making a statement. John A. said Aho's terrible defense. Salo is no worse. Give him some time. Let him learn by playing consistent minutes. The constant yo-yo shift is infuriating. Yo-yo shit is infuriating. Oh, man. I tell you. Shay says Salo won't develop / improve with switching off with Aho. He needs to play, get experience, and learn to get better. Gungun said, if you're an Islander fan, isn't it simply un-American if you're not also a Jets and Mets fan? Or am I barking up the wrong goalpost? Like the goalpost barking.
That's what it usually is. It's Islanders, Mets, Jets, and Nets. And then Knicks, Rangers, Giants, and Yankees.
I'm an Islander, Mets, and Giants fan. What can I say? I'm an
blue collar, white collar.
JG said, you guys don't seem to be in sync tonight. I know, JG. We were not in sync tonight. The Wicker Man said, what are you shaking your head? Would you say we're in sync tonight, man?
You're all night you've been badgering. Must have had a tougher day of work today because you're just attacking. You're like a little freaking, like one of those little, little attack dogs.
Grumpy, this show was all friendly, fun banter. But when you're fucking exhausted and doing something else, it's hard to do the banter.
Again, dude, What's with your fake news just pushing your narrative all day?
Fake news? What are you talking about?
Look
What are
at
you talking
You
about?
are enjoying.
It
Look
looks
at
like
that.
your responses are half-hearted, half-baked. You got nothing to it, Grump. I'm just wanting a little energy out of you, my friend. I'm not the answer guy. That's you.
You realize how these shows go. You read the comments, I comment on them. You're reading the commenting, and then running me down and smiling about it, like that big stupid grin you got on your face now. That's what you've done all night. Then attack me if I turn my head one way or the other.
Okay.
What are you doing? You turned your head.
Dude, what I cannot stand is when we had a lot to talk about today, and I'm bringing up talk as a discussion, and you're just like, yeah, that's kind of cool. That's right. I'm just like, dude, I don't know. Usually if we don't,
let it go and move on, please.
I'm not the one who brought it up. You did, and I answered your freaking. I responded to your ass. What are you talking about?
Let me ask you a question. Do you have a dead horse in your living room there?
Yeah, I'm going to beat the living shit out of it. I didn't bring it up. You did, and I responded to it. What do you want me to say? Just take it over fucking laying behind, laying dead? What are you talking about?
Go to the next comment. Crazy.
Oh, my God. You motherfucker. I swear to God. Wickerman says the Rangers should have kept Andrew Cobb. Yeah, at center. And they got from Winnipeg last year. Well, he signed with Winnipeg. He wanted to go back home. That's the thing about it.
Didn't he go to Detroit?
Oh, did he want to go to Detroit? I know wherever he went, he went back home. I don't know where home was for him. I know it was in the central portion of North America.
I believe he went to Detroit.
Okay, gotcha. They went to Detroit. Milo Brownie says, thanks for clarifying your relationship on the last show. Now I understand. It's just tough love on both sides. Absolutely. Romanoff is still 22 years old, the Wickerman says. Absolutely. And Romanoff still getting adjusted to the system. You know, he's young. Give him time. I think he can improve defensively. I just don't think much offensive upside. John A. says, come on, TJ. Your hairline twin would definitely get a first-round pick. I agree. Bavillier is having a nice game tonight.
Yep.
You see what I mean, Grumpy?
Okay, you realize no, stop. You realize the last 6 comments you have read, commented on them, and then gone to the next comment. I don't know when you're going to start or stop talking. I don't know.
You're not commenting on anything.
You realize
you
are reading and commenting right after you start reading. Then you stop for a second. I'm like, oh, am I okay to say something now? Okay. I don't know if he had a nice game tonight. I have not watched the game. No idea.
Oh, there it is.
You're the one who's watching the game off your phone, badgering me for occasionally turning my head, and running me down. I don't know if Villia had a good game tonight. Here's the answer. Read the comment again.
Really is having a nice game tonight.
How the fuck would I know? I ain't seen the game. Not allowed to watch the game. Not allowed to even look. Not allowed to turn my head. If I turn my head, what the hell are you doing? You turned your head.
Oh man. I tell you, Grumpy, this, you're funny. You're something else, man. All I've got to say is this. When have you ever been tentative? Do you ever feel tentative? Oh, I can't go ahead and respond to that one. Don't be like you're exasperated. I just asked you a question. You said you feel like, oh, I don't know when I could chime in. Okay. Motherfucker, I'm reading comments. I'm like reading comments. I'm like, okay, got you, Grumpy. Any input from you would be nice.
You realize that usually what you do is you read the comment and I comment on it. You are reading the comment, commenting on it, then going right to the next comment. You are aware of that because you're angry. I think maybe you got a little. Is that
the warden? Did I just hear
the warden is up. You woke her up.
I didn't wake her up, Grumpy.
See, she called you big mouth and said you woke her up. Hope you're happy.
I didn't wake the warden up, Grumpy. That was you. Woke the warden up. You're gonna have to deal with that all evening long, Grumpy. That's the gift that I'll keep giving. Sorry, warden.
You just seem very happy with my plight. It seems like.
There you go, Grumpy. I'll let you read a few. So you feel involved.
Class, TJ,
I'm gonna get you involved in the show.
Oh my God! Shut up. It says in that draft class, TJ, maybe you do Romanoff will be good. I think he's physical. Any comment to that, TJ? Next comment.
No comment on that. Yeah, I agree. When you look at Romanoff, I think he is physical. We talked about it, right? Defense, I think he can continue to improve. He's got to work a little bit positionally. I think offensively, he just has a cap, and I don't think there's much to the cap.
You know what? I like the Anaheim Ducks orange jerseys. I like them. They're nice.
I couldn't tell you too much about those jerseys. Is that the reverse retro?
I think just their regular orange jerseys. I don't know. Doesn't matter. They look sharp. Maybe it is their reverse retro. They look nice. Empire State Construction says the other picture we got with Romo will make it an even better deal.
Romanoff. With the other pick we got with Romanoff will make it an even better deal.
Gotcha. D-Cut says, will Barzell score before Thanksgiving? Yes, he will. He scored tonight. He had a point. Not a goal, but he had a point. That's scoring.
He'll score before Thanksgiving, D-Cut. Here's the thing. Maybe he'll score against the Hurricanes. He's bound to score. What has he now got? 7 assists?
7 assists.
7 points this year. 7 games
for the team.
Points.
Tied for the team lead in scoring.
Tied with the captain, Grumpy Anders Lee.
Average Anders. Gracious. All he did today was get knocked on his keister by Trouba.
Oh, there you go.
All he did today. Alexander says, Sorokin is on fire tonight and earned a shutout. Deservedly so.
Alexander said, good to see Stan Fischler and Dennis Potvin tonight. Absolutely.
I'll read the long comments because, well, you know. Freedom Fun Adventure says,
I tell you, see, like you take those little small ones, you just think, oh yeah, no worries about that one. I'm trying to keep it alternating, Grumpy, so like I can try to get through the comments and try to show selected ones. So when I hear all fucking night,
I
can just drone through them all, and you could just sit there and play around on your computer and watch TV. You do what you
I would like for people to do is send TJ hard hitting questions like, TJ, what is your favorite color?
Oh, is that what you think the questions are, huh?
Cat or dog?
Oh,
stuff like that. Something you can handle. Freedom Fun Adventure says, Romanov, a great acquisition. 22, blocks everything. Great skater, plays big minutes, strong passer, and having watched him on the Russia and Montreal, he makes offense happen. Guys to wave, Bailey, Parise, Palmieri, and Shushnikov. We haven't seen that from Romanov yet. I'm just going to say that. We haven't seen that. We've seen him. He's very good at blocking shots, very physical. Positionally, he's not very sound yet. And I haven't seen anything offensively from him.
Have you seen any passes where he makes a cross-ice pass or he makes an outlet pass to go ahead and spring offense? I haven't seen any of that. Strong passer question. I'm not saying he can't do it. I just haven't seen it on the ice for 7 games in. Wickerman says, TJ, first round picks don't always pan out. Yep.
Right. And my whole point was that, before it's 2 years before a first round pick is going to possibly pan out. He's 22. He's already been through the tough times in his career. He's just be getting better and better. He's only going to be 24 in 2 years, and he'll be a mainstay in the lineup. That's the problem I didn't have an issue with. Brandon Gaines says the Islanders got Romov at 22 years old and Isaiah George for that first round pick. Since Nazar's ceiling is basically Pajot, best case.
Okay, hold on. Brandon Gaines, how can you say?
You going to let me finish reading the comment before you chip?
I'm sorry. Okay.
Let me finish reading the comment. I realized the long comments confuse you. That's why I decided to read this one.
Is that? Oh my God, Grumpy makes fun of me. I'm going to cry. Grumpy's so critical.
Nazar's ceiling is basically Pajot, best case scenario based off skill set. I still don't see an issue with this trade. It's not an aged vet trade like Palmieri and Zajac. That's my whole point to the trade. It's not like you traded for a 30-year-old. You traded for a 22-year-old. Go ahead, TJ. Comment away.
We have got to ask, do you really think Frank Nazar's ceiling is Jean-Gabriel Pajot third line center? I don't know. That's a little quick to judge. The guy was drafted how many days? He was drafted a month or like 3-4 months ago. I don't know. Really quick to be saying, yeah, Frank Nazar's ceiling is a third line center. I mean, like, I know he's banged up right now, so he's not playing for the University of Michigan, but the guy was a highly touted individual, and I don't know, skill set wise, I don't know. You look at his production, he's had it so far in juniors. Jeff Sobel says Romanoff is a solid passer, great body checker, and has some offensive skills. Romanoff has some potential. He's only 22 years old.
Right. Thank you. The only one who just is irrational about this is you, TJ. Hold on. Here's another long one from Storm Chase Mike. Let me get this one. Islanders Never Say Die podcast. This team needs to play as if they're on the penalty kill at all times. Heck, I play 5 on 5-on-4 at this point. They play with urgency in this scenario. There you
What
go.
took you so long to get over that?
Well, he left out a word, so I had to finish reading it.
Crazy. Sometimes when these people type in shit, they're not grammatically correct. Isn't that
your
nuts?
issue is when they actually type the right words and you just change the word
Oh,
or just delete words. If I have to add a word, I got to know in context.
Here's a comment for me. Right? Question mark. No, I'm just kidding. Brandon Gaines says Adam Pellick was highly maligned before the 2018-2019 season and hated in the first half of that year. My goodness, let's give Romanoff a freaking break long term.
He's talking to you here, TJ.
Adam Pellick was maybe maligned, but he was maligned by retarded fans, dumb fans. We were on the boat immediately saying, first game of the season, Lucas Spiza should not be in the lineup. It should have been Pellick. I liked what we saw at Pellick. And it wasn't like until the people needed to see a sample size of 80-plus games of success before they said, yeah, that guy can actually play. We were able to see it during preseason. I'm not so sure. I'm just saying the best case scenario for this kid is he's at Adam Pellick. Best case.
You know, tonight, Anaheim is playing Tampa Bay. Do you want to know who the starting goaltender for Tampa Bay is?
I don't know. How would you know this, Grumpy?
Brian Elliott. That's who.
How would you know, Grumpy? Who's in net for who? How would you know this, Grumpy, if you're not watching TV?
I look
oh, yeah. So now you're saying every time you're looking over there, you watch
the lineups.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Where'd you see the lineup, Grumpy?
The lineup card.
Where'd you get that?
Rob G says,
actually the lineup card, Grumpy?
Rob G says, Islanders are going to win tonight, fellas. They're playing great defense. If they don't back down, it should create good transition to offense. Stay strong, Isles.
Oh, man.
I still don't think we played great offensively, but we were really solid defensively tonight.
The Wicker Man says, come on, TJ. Calvin DeHaan was a first-round pick defenseman. Okay, not all first-rounders pan out. I'm just saying we know what it looks like. You could say pretty quickly, I know what the ceiling looks like in a guy like Romanoff.
What has been Lou Lamoriello's history when drafting first-round picks? Who has it been?
What?
When Lou Lamoriello has drafted first-round picks for the Islanders, how has that panned out? He's drafted one. He's a career minor leaguer. So maybe it's better to get an established young NHL player instead of him.
Technically, he drafted Oliver Wahlstrom.
He didn't draft them. He didn't draft them.
I'm just saying technically he did.
There was no technically about it. He was here for a week. He had nothing to do with it.
When
if he could have traded, if he could have
just say technically, I don't give him credit for it, but technically he did.
If he could have identified if Scott Stevens and Scott Niedermeyer are coming back, he would have moved those picks as well.
Good gracious. Oh, man. Frank says, hit the thumbs up. Sorokin looks good tonight. D-Cut saying, I hope Bellows gets claimed. The kid is wasting away in the press box.
Same here.
Sean Davis said, last 5 minutes of the period was brutal. The Bellows waving was terrible. He deserves a spot over these geezers.
True.
I'd agree with that. I'd agree. The Workerman said, David, it might be what works best for him. Unfortunately, but the Islanders would end up with nothing. Talking about if they waived him.
Well, that's just poor asset management, isn't it?
If there is any sort of value for that type of guy, my God, I can't imagine there's much value though for him. He's a guy who is in between AHL. He's like what they call in baseball, a 4A player, without being given the opportunity or the chance to prove that, hey, can he be an MLB guy or can he be an everyday NHLer? Well, you get 20 games in a system that where you're playing like 7 minutes a night. Really tough to break through and be successful then. It is.
If Casper Holmstrom was like in the minor baseball leagues, where would he be right now? Would he be still a high rookie ball, or would he be?
I think he's AAA.
You think he's? I don't think he's AAA.
I mean, that's where it is at the AHL.
I think he's with
ECHL if you're in.
He'd be playing with the Trenton Thunder. That's what I think.
Trenton Thunder or AAA team?
They're AA.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Get Bailey off the freaking first line, says Alexander. Yep. Jake Bellows says, please, somebody pick Kiefer Bellows up. Anybody, please. But I still watch your show.
Thank you, Jake.
Thank you, Jake.
We're rooting for Kiefer. We are.
We are.
He's been done wrong again. And again.
Yeah, Sean Davis saying we cannot finish
at all.
Frank says, TJ, you're clueless. Islanders are playing great. Sorry, love you. Okay, there, Frank.
I thought we played well today too. Even though we gave up a lot of shots, I still think we played well. It's not like they were all point blank. I mean, there were some high danger chances, but I thought for the most part we played okay.
You have to rely upon your goaltender to bail you out on multiple occasions. That's when we say, wow, I'm happy we won. I thought it was a closely contested game. That's a game I could see going either way. And we got the first goal. And I think, hey, high tides raise all ships.
First goal was super important in that game.
Unbelievably important is right. I agree. Sorokin's best game of the year by far. Absolutely.
He always plays well against the Rangers. Him and Shesterkin have that, that rivalry.
I know Shesterkin wasn't in net, but still, he plays well against the Rangers. He gets up for that. Rob G says Bellows is gone. Wow. I think Johnston and the other guy that got scratched, Shishnikov, tonight are better anyways to help.
I don't think he's gone. It just means I think that they can move him down to the minors if they want.
When he's waived like that, if you call him back up and then you go ahead and bring him back down again, you got to re-waive them. It's not like you waive him once and you now have access to do that for the rest of the time. If you call him back up, that's how it has to be done.
Okay.
Goon says power play still sucks at the 4 period. Wait another 4 decades to address the need head on. Yeah, we've had power play issues for a long time.
Another thing Potvin talked about when he was, talking about the golden days, how their power play was like 33%. Think about that, scoring 1 every 3 times on the power play.
That's better than any power play unit you see out there in the league now.
Now, I will say Colorado is like 10 for 18 on the power play this year. So
something's going to break.
Something's going to give. Something's got to give.
Well, maybe we'll start surrendering goals before that time period. Maybe we'll start surrendering goals against Carolina. Who the heck knows? And D-Cut says...
Where's D-Cut from? Where's D-Cut from?
I don't know. Who is D-Cut, Grumpy?
Isles Misery. Rated R.
Oh, God. Those people. Those
fantastic Facebook fellas.
Oh, man. Yikes. That Facebook group. That dreaded Facebook group, Grumpy.
He probably wants to come down after he sees how nasty you were to me today. He probably wants to go find you, give you a beating, and then go back on the show.
Is that what it is, huh, Grumpy?
I think so.
D-Cut says, after 2 days off, we looked like a tired team. The last 5 minutes of the second period the Rangers played last night. Bad sign.
We won, though, so.
How do we look? I told you before, I don't care if we're winning or losing just quite yet. I care more about how we look.
I thought we looked better today. I thought we looked like we did not as good against Anaheim or San Jose because they're not as good a team, but I thought we had a lot of energy today for the most part. What I saw anyway. What I was allowed to see anyway.
You weren't allowed to see anything, Grumpy.
I had to sneak it.
You did a really shitty job of sneaking. Were you like the kid that who was sticking his hand in the cookie jar and mom and dad always got you like, Grumpy, you get not good at sneaking, man.
Are you going to go to the next comment or what? Or you can just stay on that one for the rest of the night.
Is that what you want, Grumpy? We can do that.
I'll just hit the comments now. We want to get through them anyway. Rob G says Scott Mayfield is playing good tonight so far. Okay.
I don't know how you can judge a guy 6 games in, TJ, AK, Romo. Okay. Has he shown you 7 games in now? Has he shown you anything offensively at all? The answer that should be no.
That's not his role.
I'm telling you, based off of how he was advertised. He was advertised as a guy that has room to grow offensively because he's got the skill set. He does not have the skill set to grow offensively.
They didn't say because he's got the skill set. They said he needs to grow his game offensively. That's not what he is. He's a defensive defenseman. That's why a pairing with Dobson is fine. We don't need 2 guys rushing the puck up.
7 games in, we could say, yeah, he doesn't have much growth offensively. 7 games, we can make that assessment. I'd say there's nothing wrong with that. I just think he's more of a guy. He's more of a guy who's going to be a steady Eddie. It's simple. Ponybear Curtis says it was Aho that got beat really badly by Kakko. Straight walked around him, and Sorokin came up big.
Yes. No, I thought it was Romanov and it was definitely Mayfield.
Mayfield and Aho. I think it was the two guys he skated through for that opportunity and cut through him like a warm knife through butter. Sal P said, "What has happened to Jean-Gabriel Pageau? This guy hasn't come close to looking like he did when we got him. Another bad trade, Lou.
Those
Talk
guys,
about it all off season.
yeah, we mentioned it in this podcast that maybe he's a guy who you just get to be that certain age with the type of style of game that he plays as a smaller player, really, really physical, hard charging into every corner. The body just doesn't hold up. Maybe that's where you're at. He's lost a step or two. I mean, he's in his 30s now. Just a little news alert. The Islanders are in 13th place in the Eastern Conference right now. They're moving on up.
Woo! It's close. It's early, but come on. I'm not too worried. I said it just as in jest earlier. I don't think we finish last in the conference. I think we're a team that finishes on the outside looking in. That's all.
Ponyboy Curtis says, "Boy, do I hate the Rangers. How do you think Queen Lundqvist feels about his former team?" I don't know. No idea. I don't care about the Rangers.
Dallas McDonald says, whoever picks up Bellows, he definitely scores on us sometime this year.
I bet he doesn't get picked up by anybody and he gets sent to the minors.
I hope he gets a chance. But,
maybe they just want to make sure he gets playing time. And if he's not going to play on the big team, he's got to play there.
Shay, good point. I didn't even look at this.
Yeah.
Our centers have 0 goals.
Still true after tonight.
Wow. Remember, we have so much depth from our center position. 0 goals from our center group. Brandon Gaines says Lee has scored, but he's also taken a mountain of penalties. So it's an overall net negative. I think he's done his job really well this year, though. He's taken a lot of minor penalties.
He's had a lot of those reach-in penalties, trippings, hookings, because he doesn't move his feet. Those are the type of, and you don't hear them saying that on the broadcast, the Islanders team. They're real quick to mention if a young guy does it, but late, oh, yeah, well, this stick got in the wrong place. How about moving your feet? Those, even tonight, didn't move his feet, tripped the guy. Move your feet, get the body in front.
Goon says Boone would have been out there like shit through a goose long ago if General George was still ruling the roost.
Very true.
Like shit through a geese. I never heard that one. That's a good one.
You never heard that saying?
No. Did you ever use that saying?
Yeah, like shit through a goose really fast.
You've never said that before.
Oh, I have said it.
We got to ask Son X. I'm not buying it, Grumpy. Rob G said, come on, Grumpy. We can't lose this one. Why can number 18 Bavillier? Why can't number 18 even score? He's lightning fast out there on the ice. Like WTF.
I don't know. He didn't score today. Alexander thought he played great. I don't know.
The Wicker Man says you can't blame Bailey when he's just playing him on the first line. The same BS when Trotz was the coach.
They've done that forever. Somehow he manages to play on the first line for a number of games. I never seen a guy with less talent play on the high marquee position just because he knows how to conjugate a verb and do an algebra
problem.
Algebra homework. That's it.
Ponyberg said, between the failed engagement, Shannon's dick necklace, Lane Lambert's puzzled look on his face during post-game interviews, the 0 goals from any of our 4 centers, time to cash it in, boys. Sell the franchise.
Wow.
Hold on. Who had a failed engagement? I
don't know who that is. Oh, the guy in the stands.
Oh shit! That looked like an act, though, was it not? Did you not? I thought that was staged.
I don't think that was an act.
She went ahead and went away.
So you're trying to say that maybe I don't know. What the hell? I don't know.
If you had proposed to a lady and she said no to you on center stage, I wouldn't be like, yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and go back to drinking my beer and act like nothing happened. I'd be like, I need to leave.
Well, maybe you want to watch the game. She left, but she left.
I'd be like, I need to leave too.
Now, I've said this before. Here's what it would be. That relationship is over.
Correct.
That relationship is over.
Correct.
I hope I might have left and And she might, where are you? Oh, I'm back home already. Yeah, sorry, stranger. Go find your ass another way home.
There it is. Gungun says, Grumpy, don't feel bad about the paint job you're not happy with. I just had my driveway expanded by the Foolers. They did a 90% decent job, but also a 10% half-hearted rush job.
That's what happens at the end. They try to rush through at the end. It's like, yo, do the job 100%. That's what they should do.
Ponyberger
says, I didn't join Isles Twitter until this year, and it is indeed very toxic. I wouldn't know about that.
It is.
Storm Chase Mike says, the Islanders Never Say Day podcast. How about we play constantly on the penalty kill? We play okay. I think we read that already.
I know, but he clarified. Instead, we need to play with the urgency like we're down 4-on-5 the entire game.
Okay. Yes.
I love how Bailey. Oh, I'd love to see Bailey score a hat trick. Oh man, wow, amazing that fella. Oh my God, I tell you, if Josh Bailey scored a hat trick, I don't even know what the reaction would be like on the show.
Has he ever scored a hat trick?
No.
I know Anders Lee hasn't either.
Shay said, I'll design the loose socks. Oh, God. Velos equals Hosang, says Goon Goon.
Yep.
I'd say they're somewhat comparable. Shay says, Martin has got 3 points, 1 goal, and 2 assists. Thanks for that, Shay. I knew he had a goal, but I wasn't sure anything else. Freedom Fun Adventure says, TJ, the league is getting much tougher and fighting is coming back. If you noticed the 2 Florida games, Kachuk was able to play his game and no rough stuff after the whistles. Potvin Socks is donating to charity too. Good.
Yeah, TJ today attacked me. He attacked Islander legend Denny Potvin. He's been off the chain today.
Well, hold on. Gungun said he thought it was going to a charity. He said, wow, I thought those socks would go to a charity too. What do you mean, Grumpy? I wasn't okay.
You were accusing him of just taking the money earlier.
Yeah, I was accusing him of creative accounting too. And he needs to be looked at. He's embezzling those funds going to charity. Take a close look at Dennis Potvin. Is that what I said, Grumpy?
You practically called him Brett Favre 2.0.
Holy shit. Who is Dennis Potvin? I only know Brett Favre who wore that jersey for the Islanders.
And I had to stop you before your slanderous comments went any further.
I was maligning the good name of Brett Favre and Dennis Potvin tonight.
There you
go. Frank look at the picture. Look at the picture, Grumpy. He's got an Islander wearing the bag head. Oh, God.
That's probably an Islander employee. Didn't want anybody to know they worked there.
Oh,
it's even worse.
I picked up a Barclay Goudreau on my Yahoo team, and freaking Palmieri scores. Yeah. Jay Clark says Ranger fans suck.
True.
Except the ones that listen to this show.
Those
are really good Ranger fans. Pointerberg says, here's a serious question. What with Potvin announcing for the Panthers so many years, has he switched alliance?
No, he's not with the Panthers anymore. Now he's back to Islanders. He did that for a job, and now he's not doing that any longer. I think he did a year or 2 in Ottawa, and now I think he's just selling socks.
Butch Goring equals Ralph Kiner.
Oh, wow. Ralph struggled at the end as well.
It's
tough. You get to be in your 70s, man. It's difficult.
Jay Clark said the Islanders should move Bellows now while he has some value. Well, he's available for anybody just to pick up for free.
Yeah, not much value there. No value there.
Well, nothing we would get in return, that's for certain. Aaron Judge and the Yankees were more disappointing, he says.
Thank you.
Ponyberg says, I've never been involved in Islanders alumni stuff like Bossy, Gillies, Tonelli, Smith, etc. Those guys were always active with the team or fans, it seems, one way or the other over the years. Potvin wasn't.
I think they all lived up on Long Island where Potvin is not.
Matthew has said, no, the Mets, way more disappointing this year. And it's not because Matthew's a Mets fan like me, but it's because they just were Grumpy, and that's science and facts.
Okay.
Who would win in a fight? A 2-on-1. Martin and Johnston versus Reeves. Martin and Johnston.
Well, Martin would probably interfere with Johnston beating up Reeves. He'd be one of those guys who's grabbing the arm as he's trying to throw it, like the wife of Johnston. And then he wound up getting pummeled because she's trying to hold him back. We've seen those in many fan fights. Those people get beat up.
Oh, goodness gracious.
So you got some do-gooder trying to stop a fight, and they wind up hindering the person and gets beat up.
Unless somebody's knocked out unconscious, that's the only time you break something up. You just step in between that
Let
guy
him
who's
go.
getting pummeled.
Let them go.
If they're both standing tall and they're both throwing punches, I'm not getting in between that.
Curb stop.
Tallis says, whoever grabs Bellows, you can bet he scores this. Yeah, this season. What if Films? What's up, Sean? He says, well, Potvin doesn't suck, and he kicked the shit out of the Rangers many times. It's a waste of energy by spastic Ranger fans, but I like the Sox.
Yep. Sure do.
Punterberg Curtis says, bro, did you watch the documentary yet on Netflix about the Danbury Thrashers? I didn't watch that yet, Grumpy. Have you?
Nope.
Crap. I'm sorry. We need to go back and watch that, Pony Boy. I know we haven't watched it yet. And Bailey. Josh Bailey scored a goal. Yeah, what a goal by Bailey. God. Bailey gives extremely good head. Jesus H. Sal P says, that's a miracle. Shitbag Bailey scores. He still sucks.
True.
Hey, he wants to sing the Josh Bailey song. Frank does. Oh, yeah. Bailey scored. I tell you. I'll let you read that one, Grumpy.
Pony Boy Curtis says Josh Bailey.
I'm not gonna read that one. I was joking around. We're not gonna read that one. Oh, goodness gracious.
His teammates gang up. Oh my goodness. Gang up on his wife and give her a tip.
Oh, goodness gracious.
That's inappropriate.
I was about to say, I half read it and I said,
you asked me to read it and then you pull it down.
Because I don't read the comment all the way through when I put it up. I'll just try to get like a little bit of it read if I can. Garnku's favorite player, Bailey scored. Bailey. John A said, great. Just guarantees him more first line time. Yeah,
that's the embarrassing thing.
Bailey's on a roll, Grumpy. Oh, Jesus H. Punberg said, if we can't beat the Rangers at home with their backup in net after playing a game against Colorado Avalanche less than 24 hours ago, we are pathetic. Exactly.
Well, we did, though.
Third game in 4 days. We should go ahead against the backup. We needed to win that one. That's for certain. Scott H also was saying, great. Now Bailey stays on the first line. Oh, God.
Freaking Bailey.
Andrew L said he was definitely intending to do that. That's the only way to get it that high is by letting the puck get inside of his body and then tipping.
I'm not going to say he was intending to do that. It just worked out.
If he was intending to do that, Josh Bailey needs to be standing in the Anders Lee spot, because if he can redirect goals like that, moving, he's a fantastic, one of the best damn garbage men we've seen, and we could go ahead and slap him in front of the net on the Matt Barzal and Oliver Wahlstrom line. There it is. Pony Curtis said, TJ said Bailey was Cummings in front of the net. Well, maybe I misspoke. Who the heck knows? TJ over dissecting again. Well, I like the again portion. Yeah, over dissecting
again.
TJ is ridiculous with the over dissections, laughing my ass off.
There you go.
Good. I try to break it down on a nuanced level. Try to get very in depth. Let's take our deep dive, Grump.
Oh, you just become annoying to everyone. That's all. The people are telling you in a nice way.
What a film saying Bailey for captain after that sniper goal. God. Tony G says sometimes the joke doesn't land. I know a lot about those. Special socks equal big socks. Big socks equal big feet. Okay, fair enough. It's random, but I love that they show Sorokin spraying water on his face.
That is random, Shay.
The Wicker Man says Pajot hasn't been the same since he was hurt in the playoffs. Do you think that injury might have anything to do with it?
Nope, not now. 2.5 years later, nope.
Yeah, I think he's just he's towards the tail end. Some people age quicker than others. He's a small frame. He plays a hard physical style, and we've talked about it before. He will never be the same Jean-Gabriel Pajot Islander fans fell in love with in the shortened season. Just won't be the case.
There is some good news. He's only got 3 more years left on his contract after this one.
And not 7 or 8. That's good. The Wicker Man says the problem with blowing up this team is nobody will want anyone and should get rid of face when they're stuck with the bad contracts. What scares me is that Sorokin won't sign an extension with how bad the team plays in front of him.
That's worrying.
That's definitely a possibility. Right? Is it weird now that we're going from saying, hey, Matt Barzal might not sign an extension, and now Sorokin might not sign an extension. I know what it sounds like, but it could be possible depending on how we do this year. Remember, he's still got another after this year. He's still got another 2 years on the contract. Is it 2 years?
It's this year and next year.
So one more year on the contract after this one.
Yep.
Yeah.
They should go into this offseason signing to a contract extension. They don't have anyone else worth anything who's up for contract.
I agree with you.
You got Kiefer Bellows. Who cares? He's a restricted free agent. They waived him. You have Zach Parise. Who cares? They're just a couple of guys, but no one who makes any difference. You can say that about most of the players on the team, but not that many guys are up for contracts.
Matthew has said, you know who's played well early this season? Cizikas. I think so too. He's shown a little bit of a bounce back. Good for him. I like to see that. Mario says the NHL needs to do something to fix the schedule. 32 teams playing 82 games make divisions meaningless. It destroys the rivalries.
100% agree.
Guggen says maybe there's more to the Bellows saga that we don't know about. Maybe he likes candy corn and music by Hootie and the Blowfish, plaid trousers, and maybe that's why he's in bad.
I was wondering if there's maybe something we are not aware of.
I have to figure it is. Played well in preseason. Has to be something we don't know about. Oh, man. Maybe he was taking the gummies that A-Rod took, and he's still taking them. Mario says, honestly, I don't care about the West. The NHL should adapt a similar system to the NFL. Play on the West once and have the remaining 16 games played within the divisions.
I agree. I'd like that. You want the rivalries built up.
Andrew L. said, that was your favorite team. The Red Wings. Not a college team, TJ. Oh, they were playing for the Red Wings together. Fair enough. I took a quick glance at it, but okay, fair enough. My favorite team is not the Red Wings, Andrew L.
Well, he was saying that since you've been trumpeting the Red Wings for quite a number of years now.
The Red Wings are on the up and up, man. I see it. I can see it coming. James F. says, hey, Josh Bailey, with your 999th game, you scored a goal. Matthew S. said, I agree. 6 interdivisional games, 3 to 4 interconference games. 25 for 25 on a penalty kill so far this year.
That's pretty good.
That's great. Milo Brownie says, reports are that Trotz said he'd be interested in coaching an original 6 team. Only team who might be looking soon is the Leafs. That's why the commentator said about it. Okay, wow. Only looking for an original. What do you think the reason for that is?
It sounds like a damn prima donna to me.
JG says, Grumpy, are you a fan of the Devils version of I Can't Get No Satisfaction? Or Devies, I'm sorry.
Devo.
Okay.
I like the original better.
I can't tell you. I don't listen to
Can't
music.
get me no satisfaction.
Okay, gracious. JG said, was that a better shot by Palmieri? Was that shot by Palmieri any better? GG? Yes, it was a good shot. I gave him credit for that goal. The first one, no, I'm not giving him credit for. You throw enough shots on that, something's going to trickle its way in. I don't know. Palmieri 2 goals tonight. Good. Glad he did a good job. Okay. The Islanders win the next few games, or at least go 3-1 versus quality teams. Should we all squeal in delight? No.
Hey, you might as well.
Are you going to be excited if we come out of this, let's say 5-5?
Consider we were 2-4, and we're playing 3 of the next 4 against high quality opponents. Yeah, that would make me happy.
The same problems that we had are still existing. That's the problem I have. We still have the same exact problems.
Okay, but we played well tonight. I thought we played well tonight.
I think we took advantage of our situation. You got to beat the teams that are ahead of you on the schedule. I think we took advantage of a situation that was it's set up for us to be successful.
Okay.
I don't know. There's a lot of reasons why I think we were the better team tonight. And I'm just saying 5-on-5 hockey, the Rangers look dominant at times. A team coming off their 3rd game in 4 days playing with a backup goalie. Anyway,
okay.
Ryan J says, Bellows with an angry face. I know. It's pissing me off too. Roy Gamer says, Sorokin is Patrick Waugh. There it is. Gungun says, TJ, the Jets didn't look dominant versus the Broncos last week. What are you saying about the Islanders not looking dominant tonight? A win is a win. Man, early on. Okay. When you're looking at the Jets, now, did you see that Jets trade, Grumpy, for James Robinson?
What did I think of it?
I said, did you see that trade?
Yes, I did. And I don't think that he'll get limited work this week, but I think they needed between the tackles runner. That's not Michael Carter. With Breece Hall out for the year, the Jets are saying, hey, let's go for it. Look what the Eagles did today. They traded a 4th-round pick to the Chicago Bears for Robert Quinn to get more pass rush on the outside. That's a good move. Maybe they're trying the Rams approach of last year. Hey, go for it. You're not in position to win Super Bowls every year unless Tom Brady's on your team and they don't have him. So if you get a chance to go all in, you should in football. You absolutely should.
Freedom Fun Adventure said, I posted 3 comments and TJ didn't read any of them. It's not one of his strengths. Go Islanders! # Team Grumpy. Rob G said, Sorokin is best top 3 goalie in the league. I think he's definitely top 5. You'd find a hard time arguing against that. Row Gamer says, I'm happy the Islanders' victory against the Rangers. Aren't we all? Matthew says, let's see how we play against the Canes. It's a tough game.
Very tough.
That's going to be a road game. Are you going to that game, Grumpy?
I'm not going to that game. That's a we don't match up with Carolina. Too fast, too aggressive on the forecheck. Very similar to the Rangers, but they'll be rested. 3 and 4, and with the Colorado game in the middle, I didn't realize they played 3 out of 4, honestly.
Yeah. That's why, again, like when we look at this is a game we had to win.
Yeah.
Rangers, 3 games in 4 days, playing their backup goalie. Shit. We're fresh as hell. We just played Sunday. We had Monday and Tuesday off. You've got to win that game. At home, no less. Maybe the stands didn't sound like that, though. James F. said, guys, that's the Islanders' first win versus the Rangers at UBS Arena.
I did not know that.
I didn't either. That's what I wanted. It was good to see, though. Mookie Betzer says here, I noticed Palmieri played a lot better with a serious 5 o'clock shadow. Maybe Lou should make an exception, to let him grow a beard. Maybe he needs the beard for mojo. Mojo.
I don't think so.
The stars of the game, my star predictions. Bailey, Palmieri, and Sorokin. Sorokin being first star.
Did Bailey get one of the 3 stars?
That's what she predicted. My star predictions. I don't know who got the stars.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Shay. I'm not trying to attack you. I would just say Sorokin. Was Sorokin, Palmieri, Sorokin.
There it is. Not enough just to be the first star. Also need to be third star. Gungun said Sorokin better than Shesterkin. I'm not sure. I would say
both really, really good.
I'd say right now, I think Shesterkin obviously has the edge. He just came off of winning the Vesna. It's just tough. I like what I see as Sorokin. I think they're both unbelievable netminders. Some of the best goalies in the game. Are we keeping you up there, Grumpy?
Need a little drink.
Okay. Fair enough. Owen J said the Islanders have no identity. I'd say right now, I'd say that's kind of true. I wouldn't say we have a defined identity like we've had in the past. A little different this year. Ponyboy says, TJ, I don't like how you've been trying to rush the podcast. Yeah, I just don't have 4 hours to be on the show every 4 days a week. So that I can't 16 plus hours with all the prep and work we put in after. It's a lot of time commitment. Goalie / defending the penalty kill is 100%. Rob G said they're going to go on a winning streak. TJ, don't be negative. Okay. Eve L says waving bellows is a fireable offense. I agree. Jason C
just
says
win, baby.
I'll let you say it, Grumpy. Say it again. I'm sorry.
Just win, baby. That's Al Davis' favorite saying.
There it is. Ponyver said the loyal listeners of the podcast deserve 3.5 hour podcast every single night should go on. Anything left is half-assed. That's right. I know it's half-assed. I didn't know there was original jest with that first comment. As soon as Palmieri gets off the figure skaters line, he nets 2. Predictable. Oh, he's continuing to blame Matt Barzal. Jesus. D-Cut doesn't like Matt Barzal, and he does not like Lou Lamoriello. How is your boy? I like Brock Nelson. Brock Nelson hasn't been scoring in droves. Our centers have 0 goals so far this year. Holy crap. I'm glad somebody brought that up to us. I'd have never thought that.
I did.
It was in a comment.
I mentioned that he had 0 goals this year.
Oh, yeah. Mario Production says, amazing birthday present. I'm glad they won. Grandpa, let's read that here.
Don't Smoke Crack says, way to go, Lou. You ruined what should have been Bailey's 1,000th game. Ha, 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 ha.
Oh, man, I'll tell you. Freaking Josh Bailey. Put Curtis said, do the lovely Paige and the Warden ever bond about about what freaking goofballs and how obsessed you are with each other like you guys are? JK, love you. No, I don't think. No, the Warden and the lovely Paige don't really talk too often, do they?
Nope, not too often.
Not too often. Oh my God. Oh man. This is static. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'll put it to you like this. Phil's facts. I tell you, Phil is somebody you got to watch out for him. So Nick tweeted at us. He said, I was listening at home to when I was at home listening to the Islanders Never Said That podcast. Grumpy was ecstatic that F- scored twice. It's got 1 like. It's Phil's facts.
I think I was complimentary of Palmieri today, and you were just putting him down with the shots. I'm like,
oh, man.
I got a comment here. James Cameron says, Grumpy is the thinker, TJ the stooge.
Oh, well, thank you.
What,
Jim J saying, hold on. How did you get to that? You missed this comment talking about his picture as a tribute to Mike Bossy. Why did you skip over that one?
Because I saw one that thought you were a stooge. I thought that was more apropos.
Okay. Sorokin's outstanding again for certain. He's grumpy old man playing 4D chess. Yeah, like grumpy old man kind of reminds me a little of Lou Lamoriello, if you know what I'm saying. James F says here, Anson Carter with the Josh Bailey chant on TNT. Oh God. Oof. Here you go, Grumpy. I'll let you read that one.
Isles Misery Radar supports Grumpy and denounces TJ. I like that.
Oh, there it is. I like this. Alexander said this to us. I hope you're hungry. He's got a big plate of nothing. Sorokin and Shesterkin. Oh, good gracious, is right. And let's see here. You're a Ranger fan. I don't know. He's going to that too. Tony Cheese said, I bet TJ's wife treats him exactly like how he's treating his pops. No.
That's right. Probably yes.
Yeah, that's it. Tony Cheese, you've got me. You've got me pinned. I'm an Islanders, Mets, and Bills fan.
Oh, well, there you go. Bills.
Shay's had a lot of really close run-ins with success as of recent, but just off.
Maybe come February, she'll have a positive thing.
Nick D says, cheese and rice, TJ. Or Jesus Christ, TJ. Leave Grumpy alone. He's tired. Have some respect for the curve. I asked you if you're tired. He said, no, I'm not.
You know what? I think the people realize that
hold on. I'm going to try to guess how you're trying to spin this really quickly. Or actually, you know what? I'll let you spin it. Never mind. I'm not even going to guess. I can't even guess what it is. Go ahead, Grumpy. Spin it.
Just seem like you're like a hyena. And I'm like, I'm the lion who's killed the prey. Actually, that's the female lion. But
yeah,
I get to eat first, and then I got to keep all you damn hyenas away. And you just rah, 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 just always going in and taking shots, like in the middle of the night.
Man, oh man, there it is. I tell you. Oh, good gracious, Grumpy. Good freaking gracious. I tell you. You know what you're like, Grumpy? You're like the old rundown lion. If I'm a hyena in this comparison, you're like the old rundown lion. Oh, ready to be put out to the pasture. Drew S says, like, share, and subscribe. Yeah, MFers. That's right. Like, share, and subscribe. All aboard. Last call for the Bills bandwagon, says Tony Cheese. Oh, goodness gracious. Frank says, yeah, it's TG doing coke. WTF. Yeah, all of my bathroom breaks are just coke breaks.
Dude, they're right. You do seem wired today.
Good. I'm glad I came with some energy to the podcast.
Usually, it's not usual for us.
Okay, fair enough.
You're exasperating. It's like my cousin. And he came into town once. I hadn't seen him in years. And he just, rah, 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 rah. I'm like, he just wore me out. I'm like, dude, go. Just
Oh, goodness
I
gracious.
can't listen to you all day. Just move on. Okay, next comment. Why don't you let me do the comments?
Here you go, Grumpy. Read these ones.
When TJ wears tank tops, we should call him the Curve. Get it? He's a little porky.
Oh, there it is.
Oink, oink.
Did he add the little noise in there, Grumpy, or was that you?
That was him, I think.
Oh, because says TJ's hopped up on something. Yeah, I guess I'm hopped up on life. I don't know.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Guys,
Nice.
what are your chances Lou would let a player have an afro?
Very low.
I don't think he'd care about that. It's because everyone's got to wear a helmet.
Pun,
X-Bun 3414 says, good evening, guys. It's a good night. Let's go Islanders. Tom Foolery says, did we already talk about how Grumpy's two favorite Islanders scored tonight? Yes, we did.
You excited about that, Grumpy?
I'm glad they scored. I'm glad the Islanders won. I thought Sorokin was phenomenal.
It was. Anthony R. Grumpy.
Just finished watching the game. What the hell is Lou doing? Really waving bellows? At the very least, we couldn't trade him. They'd even try. He probably tried to make it. Let's see how much lower I can make this kid's value plummet by putting him on waivers. I talked to all my buddies, and they said they won't take him because I want to punish this kid. Probably what he said.
Drew L. Grumpy.
TJ Grumpy, one question. What's the difference between regular waivers and unconditional waivers? Unconditional are you're waived for the purpose of giving you a release. Regular waivers mean that they can send you down to the minors.
Oh, there it is. I'm glad you knew that because I would not have known it off the top of my head.
I'm not surprised.
Frank thinks Colorado's going to win it all again.
Long way to go yet. Long way to go.
So happy to beat the Rangers. Made my week, says Rob G. Shay Grumpy's got a comment for you.
Every win, I feel good. Doesn't matter against who. When you lose, you feel like crap. When you win, you feel really good. Sorokin after the shutout. Said it really well. Ariel, our friend, says Sorokin is just as good, if not better than Shesterkin. Put some damn respect on his name.
Hey, I think Shesterkin just slightly better, but I think they're both top 5 goalies in the NHL. She also says he has 2 assists, Pajot. And we got here, Deidre C says, it was a well-played game by the Islanders. There should be a confidence builder. Drew also says, I listened to Phil's Twitter space after the Bellows move. He said he wasn't losing sleep over this, but was really confused by the move.
Yeah.
Shay also says, it looked like there was a little bit of something there. Lambert on Wallstrom playing with Barzal.
Well, maybe it means more Barzal with Wallstrom.
Hey, I'm down for that. Rob G says, Bellows will be back soon.
Hope so.
Gugun says, you'll be out of here like shit through a
Shit
goose.
through a goose.
Dean Wormer speaking to Otter. Oh, wow.
Do you know what movie that's from?
Animal House. Animal House.
Yep.
Dean Wormer. They're trying to get him kicked off of campus. Shay says, Lou might be making a lot of questionable decisions and no moves. At least he didn't put those shitty ads on the jerseys.
True.
Hold on. Do other teams have ads on jerseys already?
I don't know.
I don't think they do. I think they're coming one day to the NHL. I don't know when.
A jersey near you.
Right? Want you to say Kachuk didn't play Chippy in the second game because Ross Johnston was in the lineup.
Very true.
Yeah. TJ's a Ranger fan, says Frank. That's it. You've got me. I'm a Ranger fan. Shay said sorry. But it's hot when he sprays his face with his water. You guys just may not understand that. I do not understand. I'll trust you on it, Shay.
I'm just going to take Shay's word for that.
Yeah. Oh, God. Frank hits him with that comment.
Yeah, I'd rather see the Ice Girl. What Ice Girl spraying water on their faces.
Oh, good gracious. And Thom Foolery says, I actually just went to see a women's pro team play in Danbury during their last season.
How were they?
I've never watched. I can't even tell you the last time I've seen an NHL game live. It's probably been years. Bed and Blanket, it's an odd name, says, do you guys like the Romoth trade? The kid plays hard.
Some of us appreciate the trade, others not so much.
Some of us are dubious of the trade, and some of us are blind believers. I guess that's how I would explain it.
Okay, let's just say that some of us, the smarter portion of the fan base, is willing to give a 22-year-old more than 6 games before they write them off and say that they shouldn't have traded a first-round pick, while others, irrational circus clowns, well, they think different.
Some of us.
Next comment, please.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. What are you going to do? You're going to just be able to end it on that after you go in that, that's just the way you are, Grumpy. Just the way you are.
Empire State Construction LLC says, as a kid, do the one before it, please. Can you do the one for it?
Yeah.
As a kid, they started that ice rink, did the footings, then the job sat for like 20 years unfinished. Mafia owner of Trash Men finished it, I believe. I don't know what he's talking about. That's okay.
I think it's the movie.
Palo C
That's
says, Sorokin has the Rangers number. They can't score on him going back to last year. He and Shesterkin have that rivalry, and I think he always plays better against them. Trots to the Leafs, Matthews and Marner, line 3. Yeah, that's
Line
exactly
3.
what would happen. Could you imagine that?
Well,
How long do you think that would last, honestly?
Tom Fuller said, I like Romanov. The defense looks decent, but the offense is dog water. Tonight's an exception, not the rule. The Islanders' offense is worse than the Yankees' post-trade deadline.
Ooh, that's pretty bad.
I was about to say, that's awful. Driel said, what are you guys' thoughts on Daniel Jones now? ESPN seems to love him and call him a franchise quarterback. He is not a franchise quarterback.
He's not.
He is a freaking journeyman in the NFL. It's that simple. He goes ahead and gets lucky at times with broken coverage. And when things continue, he gets a lot of time back there in the pocket. And sometimes when plays break down, he's able to scramble out and earn himself 20 to 30 yards.
He's done a good job this year. This has been his best year of his career. It has been.
Yep. Alexander says tonight could be a confidence booster.
There you go.
See? I'm not so sure about that.
Told you.
I'm not so sure about that.
Tom Foolery says, I'm not a Giants fan, but he looks decent. I think he'll end up somewhere as a starting quarterback for maybe a season or two after this one. But he actually looks okay under Daboll. They're running the Josh Allen offense without the wide receivers, but you're seeing a lot of that, what they did with Allen early on.
And without the ability to throw the ball. Shay says, I was correct on my star predictions.
There you go. Just Bailey. Why Bailey? Couldn't they find anyone else? How about hot dog vendor on aisle C?
Bailey will be a freaking star of the game next game when it's his 1000th game. I can promise you, even if he does nothing, he will be a star of the game.
Paolo said, Paolo says, Grumpy, we won because of Sorokin. If he wasn't sharp, it would have been a different game. Okay, well, he always seems to play well against the Rangers. That's what his job is, though, to look rock solid out there. That's how we're going to have to win games.
Michael B said, Brock Nelson and sleep apnea fueling this tortured week. Love you guys. Love you too, Michael B. Matthew S said, D-Cut hiding on YouTube and blaming Palmieri. No goals on Barzal. Typical. D-Cut. Milo Brownie says, ready to bring up Atu Ratu. Are you ready to bring up Atu Ratu yet, or will we need to wait for the first 20 games?
He's not going to come up this year.
I agree. Mark A said, victory can bring harmony. It can.
Oh.
James F said, my girlfriend's birthday is Saturday. Well, happy future birthday to her there, James. Alexander
Don't
says,
forget to get her a gift, James.
Right. Grumpy,
I don't know what they sell in Pittsburgh. Maybe a hoagie or something.
Your birthday comes up on Saturday too, 29th.
Yes, that's right.
There it is. Alexander says, are you guys worried about Barzal? No, absolutely not. D-Cut says, our third line is making $11.5 million this season. Once Parise plays his 10th game, the $750,000 bonus kicks in. Yikes.
There you go.
D-Cut says, open the phone line Saturday, TJ. I have a bone to pick with you. Oh no. I'm worried. I'm petrified. I'm shaking in my boots.
Watch out. TJ's feeling feisty today, D-Cut.
Oh, baby. I'm so scared.
Wow.
Alexander says, Tua, the Samoan sniper. God almighty.
They have Detroit this weekend. He should light it up.
Ben Blanket said, I don't know about blind believers. First or second game, he had 9 block shots.
You want to hear something funny? They brought up on the podcast, on the telecast on Sunday, after they were getting beaten again by Florida about the number of hits. Yeah, we haven't heard a whole lot about these hit stats the last couple of years. Nice to the Islanders are back hitting them. First thing I think is, man, you know your team's bad when you're pumping up that we're the leaders in hits.
I tell you. We're bringing back the Matt Martin and Konopka days. Yeah, they're fighting. Who's going to be in the lead of the season after with the hit totals? God almighty.
Yeah.
Who is the one Islander besides Josh Bailey Grump that always seems to frustrate you
God,
throughout the years?
Bailey's the one for me. Just the love, and it's not even Bailey, it's the love that certain people have for him. I mean, just to me, he's just a ham and egger, and he's treated like he's 1,000. Oh, no, he sucks. I don't understand.
Shay says, when Lambert was asked about Bellows on waivers, he said, I'll leave that question for Lou. So it just won't be addressed until
that's right. No question, no answer. No answer.
It's a way to say, great, we don't have to worry about answering this until the trade deadline. The next time I have to, have it like an obligatory speak or an obligatory interview. D-Cut says, Grumpy looks a bit tired tonight. Hang in there, pal. Hump day is almost over.
True.
Grumpy.
I did not sleep very well last night. I think I got like 2 hours sleep for whatever reason.
You're retired. Hold on. How'd you only get 2 hours of sleep?
I don't know why. I had a very hard time sleeping last night.
Okay. Good to know. I guess Grumpy is very, I never had a hard time sleeping, but I understand. I guess I could
not tell you the reason why.
Let's see here. Shay said on the Sorokin quote, he's more comfortable speaking English since he started cursing. There it is.
That's the way it is with most people.
Frank says it's a confidence booster. How could it not be? I don't think the team is really fickle when it comes to team confidence. With a veteran group of players, I would like to hope that the ebbs and flows, as I've always mentioned, are not as high and low as with a young group of players. That's what I mean by that, Frank. It shouldn't affect us as much as it would affect a team full of rife of 22, 23, and 24-year-olds, or a veteran team that should know how to handle losing streaks and winning streaks with professionalism.
True.
Drew L said, I will say this about the Giants. Other than Darius Slayton and Wayndale Robinson, the rest of our receivers are just bad as that Packers receiving core. Oh, God.
I mean, the whole thing is Kadarius Toney should be a really good receiver for them. Sterling Shepard, of course, out for the year again. But it's like this is 2 coaching staffs now for Kadarius Toney, and it seems like there's issues with
the doghouse for both items.
That's a problem.
Nice. What a shitty pick by Gettleman that's panned out to be. My God.
Yeah.
Dika said we dominated the last 12 minutes of the third period. 3 and 4 caught up with the Rangers.
Good. Yeah. I don't want to hear excuses like we heard the other night when the Islanders play 3 and 4. I don't want to hear it.
We're going to hear them, though, because that's just the nature of the beast, my friend.
I like this comment.
Matthew,
big win. F those New York City sewer rats. I like it.
Shay said Barzal has 7 points, just no goals. The goals will come. He's a playmaker. To be fair, not a goal scorer.
True. He does need to shoot the puck more, and he can. He just sometimes he gets. Doug Waite was like that as well. Look at Doug Waite's numbers. Never had a boatload of goals, but man, he beautiful setting up assists. The whole thing is he played with Brett Hull, and no problem setting him up. He was a fantastic passer, and he had a lot of really, really big years with St. Louis, and it was, just as a setup guy. I don't think he ever scored 30 goals.
Most he ever scored in a season was 26.
Yeah. But how many assists?
104 point season. He did one year have 25 goals and 79 assists. That was the peak of his career. And that was when he was 25 years old in Edmonton.
Yep. How many assists did he have? And Doug Waite started out with the damn Rangers, I believe.
Started out with the Rangers.
Yeah. But how many? He was a consistent 60 assist guy every year, was he not?
Career about 1,200 games, 278 goals, and 755 assists.
Okay. But I'm saying
a lot more assists than goals.
Yeah, absolutely. He was a setup guy. That's what he was.
Yep, absolutely grumpy. And Mark A says Brick and Bavillier need to step it up.
Probably says Brock
Oh, I'm sorry, Brock. That's it.
or Croc.
Jay says, I'm going to leave this comment, but Liam McHugh does intermission, pregame, postgame on TNT. Was my teacher.
Wow. Interesting. There you go.
That's pretty
Did not know
nice.
that.
Dika says the lovely Page spiked the fire hydrant and TJ is talking like a drunk frat boy. Yes, I'm slurring my speech, having a difficult time articulating my thought. I'm hammered, Grumpy. Hammered on here. And Ponyboy Curtis says, there's no freaking way you guys are still live. I fucking love you guys. Absolutely. Thanks there, Ponyboy. Always. The Knicks are 3-1. Ponyboy Curtis says, you guys are the true MVPs of the Islanders community, boys. And I mean that. Well, thank you, Ponyboy Curtis. I thought you were going to respond to that, but yeah, absolutely. D-Cut says, Grump, next time you can't sleep, listen to Phil's Facts podcast. He's human Ambien.
That would put me to sleep instantaneously.
Tony Cheese says here, TJ never has trouble sleeping because I bet he floats through life with no worries or anxiety. Ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss.
Hey, I do what I can. Tony Cheese said, I can't help but notice Jane Austen was demoted. A couple of shelves there.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I got into my Philip Quadrell, my new favorite author. Yeah, what can I say?
I'm sure you're pronouncing that name wrong.
I like my Philip Q better than I do my Jane Austen.
I don't even know what you're talking about, but as soon as I heard you try to mouth out a word, I'm like, oh, I'm sure he's butchering that.
How would you say that? That's Philip Quantrell, isn't it? I know it's backwards
Quantrell.
for you.
Yeah, Quantrell. Philip C. Quantrell.
Yeah, thank you very much. Don't question my favorite author here.
Quan. You know how you do when you're trying to sound something out.
My favorite Philip
Just
Q.
first of all, put the book back before you get in trouble. Make sure it's in the right
no, Grumpy. There it is. Let me go ahead and flip them all over the place. Okay. TJ really hates when you suggest his mind is being altered by substances. That's it. You got it.
Very true.
Well, man, let's wrap things up today, Grumpy. 3 hours in. What do you want to say before we wrap things up?
I just want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't, from TJ and a Grumpy Old Man.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning into the show. An odd one for certain, but one nonetheless. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you're new to the show, make sure to subscribe on YouTube, like on Facebook, and follow on Twitter. And thank you, as always, Grumpy Old Man.
My pleasure.
D-Cut came in with the last little comment. I think it's apropos. Fire TJ, hire D-Cut. Oh, there it is, as always. And great show, gentlemen, says Matthew S. Thank you, guys. We'll see you this Saturday. Well, actually, I didn't even talk about our other show. We got another show, another podcast tomorrow. TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. It's an all-sports show. You can find it in the link in the description below or as a featured page on our YouTube channel. We'll be there tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll be back at the Islanders podcast this Saturday. So until then, have a great rest of your week. Thank you again, Grumpy.
My pleasure.